Alright, hey guys, Zomb Phox here, and it is time for the second live play-by-play of the week. Of course, this is the third game of the 2025 UFL Week 3. We have the Michigan Panthers at home against the San Antonio Brahmas, with, of course, a lot of stuff that's happened in the last little bit. Of course, the Brahmas now have a new offensive coordinator as AJ Smith is gone as he resigned from his position. The Panthers have lost Marcus Sims, Matt Colburn, and Breland Speaks due to Sims being traded and the other two being put on IR. So we have a couple of big changes in that front, making this for a pretty different matchup in a lot of ways. Now, as for this game overall, this is going to be a tough one to call, I think. I said it before, because of all the issues with the Panthers and who they've lost, it's definitely a tough one to look at exactly who is going to win. The Panthers have been the overall favorites, and I mean, it's not shocking why. For obvious reasons, again, because you have this team who's just, kind of built for this in theory, but yeah, we don't know for sure. So it'll be interesting to say the least. Now, as for my predictions for this game, I'm pulling those up on the side right now. I predicted this game was going to end up being a 17-12 Panthers win. I thought this would be a very low-scoring game that Michigan would end up pulling away with, but it would be a much closer game than the spread entails. Can't believe my show votes are 0-3, bro. We shouldn't be 0-3. My power rankings video is going to be insanely difficult to make. Sup, G-Man? It's so hard for me to determine who I'm going to put where in my power rankings. Because, the truth is that Memphis is just like Arlington last year. They're keeping all these games super close, but they're not able to pull away with the W. So it's like, do I really penalize them for the fact they can't get the job done? Do I reward them for how objectively they've been the second most complete team behind the Battlehawks? It's really weird because, Houston, I mean, they may have won, but it took a pick six and then a couple lucky breaks for them to get the W. It's just, and then how much do I drop Birmingham and Arlington? Because the way they both played, they both deserve to go down spots. This power rankings, legitimately, again, we haven't seen the two games today, but so far, the power rankings, you could put so many teams in so many different spots. It's going to be wild. I really don't know. Because, I mean, if San Antonio loses, then it becomes easier to put them at 8, but then number 7, 6 is going to be a tough one. I don't know, man. This power is going to be tough. Sup, Kick Surfer? They belong at 7. T-Will played well, missed a wide open guy, though. Yeah, I mean, the issue with the showboats is that E.J. Perry had the 2 bad interceptions. Aside from that, he played a solid game. T-Will came in, he overall played solid. He used his legs and was able to utilize them. Didn't get the first down, that 3rd and 12, but he got close enough for them to get a 4th and 1. Then he had a couple other big runs, but then, of course, the wide open guy on the left side didn't throw it to him, was bad. Challenge holding on the wrong guy, yeah, I saw that. That was definitely, that was a rough one, too. I did see that one. I mean, it was a tough game. It was a tough one for the Showboats. They really should have won that game. The fact that Houston has a win. Houston now is tied for 2nd place in the conference based purely on wins, which is, it's wild. I mean, seriously. If you're Michigan, Michigan needs to understand that this game now is a must-win. Because I think everybody still agrees that Memphis is a better team than Houston despite losing. So if you're Michigan, you get this win, you're 2-1 versus Memphis 0-3. You might be able to sneak into the playoffs despite having lost so many big-name players and overall, issues that you really didn't think you'd be able to overcome. You might be able to overcome them because you have another team that's just kind of choking, That's kind of how I view it. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. But, of course, for this, let's put up the poll. Who wins this game, Panthers or Brahmas? Of course, see who wins the A.J. Smith less Brahmas versus the Panthers. E.J. Perry imploded. Yeah, I mean, he was doing great, and then he had the back-to-back interceptions, and it was just not good. That hurt. Because aside from that, he looked pretty solid. Now, of course, today, the biggest sports going on is the Masters tournament. If you didn't watch yesterday, you really missed out. McIlroy was just playing out of his mind for most of that. DeChambeau played solid, and DeChambeau and McIlroy, a rematch of the U.S. Open last year, are the final group. Of course, you got a few other guys like Reed, Scotty, even Corey Connors is still in it. So you got that starting. Of course, that's the main guys tee off at around 2-ish, so basically after this game. So I'm going to be doing what I did yesterday, which is I'm going to be watching both the Masters and the UFL game at the same time. Gonna have one device on one on the other, and then have another device to be on Twitter. EJ Perry got too much in his head after the INT. Yeah, it was bad. That was a good call by Wisenhunt. That's when you're supposed to swap quarterbacks, whereas if it was Jim Turney, he would have done it like flip-floppy, which is the one big difference between the two. So, yeah, I need them to win. Yeah, I mean, if you're a Charlotte fan, you need San Antonio to win because then your loss to Houston really doesn't matter. Because 0-3 and making the playoffs in a 10-week season should be a death sentence. But if your other two opponents for that playoff spot are 1-2, you're only down a game. Now, you are technically down like a game and a half because you lost to Houston, but you can always get that win back later in the season. It's a tough call to say if Troy should be the starter going forward because it's one of those things where so far through 3 weeks, EJ Perry has... They both, in all honesty, I think they're both, wherever you rank one of them in a quarterback ranking, I think the other one's right next to him. Granted, T. Will has not played as much as Perry this season. But judging how they played last year and how they played this year, they're both almost identical. They both are able to give you a really good drive, right? EJ Perry in week 2 had that 6-minute drive that ended with the blocked field goal. T. Will had another long drive that ended in the touchdown, though of course he didn't get the 2-point conversion off. So, honestly, I think it's almost the same either way. I don't think it's a massive difference, all things considered, which quarterback, but yeah. Thank you, bro, for loving the vids. Of course, yesterday I put out the Renegade Stallions video, which overall did pretty well in terms of people receiving it. I know some people still disagree with it. Like I said before, just to not harp on it too much, my thoughts are the fact that you let the play go, you didn't blow the whistle, it doesn't matter to me, it's a dead ball foul. You should change the rules to allow for the coach of the opposing team to decline it, especially since it wasn't a super challenge, because it felt really off how Stoops kind of got screwed over that one. Finally, Nolan Henderson was named the starter, dude, thankfully. Nolan Henderson, man, he played so much better than Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown kept his starting job because he had one good drive in week 2. And I think CJ's finally realizing that Anthony Brown is the worst quarterback in the league right now in terms of starters. Sup, MB? Again, this game, hopefully we get 2 more good games because, of course, that Friday game was awful. Yesterday's game was so far game of the year. Like I said, I'm happy that Memphis made what I said the past, before this game true. They're the most enjoyable team to watch in the league because all 3 of their games have been good games. They may not be high scoring, but they are legitimately fun games to watch. Week 1 was a fun one against DC, or week 1 against the Panthers, week 2 against DC. So far, 3 for 3. You could argue there's only been 4 good games this season. They've been in 3 of them. Hopefully that continues today. Hopefully the DC-St. Louis game lives up to the hype. Hopefully this Panthers-Brahmas game ends up being a close one. Like I said, I thought this was going to be a low-scoring game, but I would definitely appreciate if it's a higher-scoring one, that's for sure. So we'll end up seeing how that goes. We'll see. Who knows? Let's see. Got to post it on live on Twitter. Just posted that out. And seeing what else is up there right now real quick. Direct red card. I was following... before this, I was watching the Real Madrid game. Mbappe had an absolutely abysmal challenge. He just straight up stomped on Alvarez player's leg and then he wasn't even shocked he got knocked out. But they're still up 1-0 and it looks like there was a red card. Yep, Alaves has a red card, so both guys are down a man. Madrid needs to at least win this game to stay even remotely alive, so hopefully they can pull it off. And then of course got the Masters tab in the background, but it's not much going to happen. Oregon fan 123, do you think Houston can carry the momentum in the next week and upset the Stallions? They didn't last year, but back when they were the Gamblers, they had back-to-back years where they pulled off one of those wild, stupid upsets. So, can they? I think they can. Because you have to understand that Birmingham's offense through 3 weeks, despite having 2 quarterbacks, has been a very, very poor offense, all things considered. And like I was saying, mainly in... the Birmingham-Arlington game, I said it during that whole live stream near the end. If you keep a game within 14... If you keep a game under 15 by both teams, you just need one massive play and you can turn the tide. So if Birmingham's offense is going to continue playing like it has, Houston has a very real shot of upsetting Birmingham because they'll get one lucky touchdown. That's all it took. They got the pick 6 off EJ Perry. That's what won them the game. Wasn't T. Will missing the wide open guy. It wasn't, them stopping the 4th and 12 or the bad challenge by Wisenhunt. What won Houston the game was that pick 6. Without that pick 6, Memphis pulls off the W, and it's not a, super close victory, but it is a close victory. So they can pull it off if Birmingham's offense plays like they had. Kellen Mond was in that 74-72 OT. Please do it again. And I mean, it wasn't even like it was a high-scoring game, but it was a higher-scoring game. I mean, it actually hit over 35 points, which was wild. And I was once again like 1 point off getting the perfect prediction. I think I was ended up, let me see. I predicted that game was going to be a close one, not a super. Okay, now I was close on Houston's score. I think it was 1 point away from predicting Houston. I think I said Houston was going to get 17 points. I was close. Or Memphis. I don't know. I was close in that game. That's what matters. But so far, again, hopefully this game keeps getting better and better this week. It's been a solid week so far, or weekend, I should say, if you eliminate Friday. But, of course, Friday night, I mean, you know, some would say Friday night was a good thing for the league because it got a ton of, you know, people talking overall about the UFL. Now, that's not a good thing necessarily in this case, but it was in that one, yeah. You jinxed my boats, A. The Showboats, they're like the Renegades last year. I mean, they really are. They're a team that just can't win those close games. I mean, back-to-back weeks, they had a immaculate final drive. Halfway through the fourth quarter, they just eat up the entire clock, but they couldn't get it done in the end. Now, it was better than last week's. Last week's, of course, they couldn't even score because the field goal got blocked, but this week they scored but then couldn't get the two-point conversion. It's tough, and it sucks because, again, the Showboats, so far, they're the most complete team in the league aside from St. Louis. Because St. Louis is the only team that in back-to-back weeks has had good offensive, defensive performances. The Showboats offense has gotten better and better every week, and the defense still is a great unit. Again, remember, one of the touchdowns that Houston scores a pick six. So Memphis' defense once again held a team to very little points. They held them to less than 12 points, or 12 or less. I don't remember if Houston scored on the extra point of the pick six. So they scored at least 12 points. That's a great defensive performance. So it sucks, but it is what it is. You know, the power rankings tomorrow are going to be really wild. After this game today, I'm going to have to just be like, F it. Why not just kind of throw teams at... Dude, it's almost to the point where like you can just throw darts at a dartboard and be like, yeah, that's where you go in the rankings. As much as everybody memes on CJ for being a bad coach every year, it was heartwarming to see him get excited over a rare W. I mean, it was cool, but it's just... It took him way too long to put Henderson as the starter. Like, I'm glad he's doing it, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they get some momentum. I mean, the Marks cast was defending CJ, which I thought that was hilarious. But we'll see. You know, sometimes it only takes one game. I've said it before. Momentum is one hell of a drug. If you just, you know, get momentum at the right time, you can win. I mean, hell, in hockey, it's like the most famous thing. In hockey, if you get some momentum heading into the playoffs, you will legitimately be a Stanley Cup competitor, despite your team being like the third worst in the playoffs, right? And football is a similar way. When you get momentum at the right time, you win enough games, you'll make the playoffs. Football is, you know, one game, that's it. Anything happens. Pull off 2 upsets, you're champion. So we'll see. Again, the game is going to be starting in just a few minutes. Again, we still have the poll up for whether or not you think the Panthers or Brahmas are going to win, knowing CJ is going to have Anthony Brown start the first 2 quarters still. Hey, hopefully he sticks by what he said with Nolan Henderson's our guy, because Henderson played much better than Anthony Brown. I mean, through 3 games, he had 1 game where he played worse, and that was, of course, week 2. The 2 drives he came and he did literally nothing. But week 1, he thoroughly outplayed Anthony Brown. This week, he really thoroughly outplayed Anthony Brown. So, hopefully he remains the starter for at least a week. I mean, we'll see. Because we've seen it before where, you know, we saw the Maulers back in 2022. Vadley won him a game. He was the starter, and then 2 weeks later, he was nowhere to be found. But we'll see. Hopefully it works out, but... Because, I mean, it would be... I don't know, man. The USFL Conference, it's going to be a wild one. This game is going to say a lot about that USFL Conference. Because if Michigan gets this W, Michigan's going to be able to kind of just stay good enough to beat out the other 2 teams. Because if Memphis keeps shooting themselves in the foot, right, I mean... It comes to a point where when you start a season really poorly, it's going to come back to haunt you. That's why Michigan win here is so important for Michigan, because then you don't knock Memphis out of the playoffs, but you make it really difficult for Memphis to make it, considering Memphis would have already lost to Michigan and Houston. Because honestly, if you're a Memphis fan right now, you would have rather had the Showboats lose to Birmingham instead, because now that you're 2 legitimate competitors for that final spot you've lost to, you're not a game behind, you're a game and a half behind, and now you have to win the rematch. Because if they lose the rematch to Michigan or Houston, is going to be tough for Memphis. As for San Antonio in this game, with how the XFL is, San Antonio is in a must-win. They lose this game, they're not guaranteed to miss the playoffs, obviously. They're not eliminated, but they're eliminated. You know what I mean? You start 0-3 in a conference where you have 2-1 and 3-0 teams, you're probably screwed. But we'll see. I mean, of course, the Brahmas have one more road game after this one before they get a home game, which is just diabolical. This is the second home game for the Panthers this season. Hopefully we get another good attendance number, but we'll see. Should be a good one. We're about a minute away from the game starting, and then, of course, the actual kickoff being like 10 minutes away because of how long they do the pregame, but we'll see. Should be a good one. I hope I got the right channel on. I was debating whether I was going to put this game on ESPN Plus or on ABC, and I was like, yeah, I'll just put it on ABC so I get, much faster overall things happening. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's check the scores of other games. The Madrid game is still 1-0. Masters so far has Fleetwood gone down. Fleetwood, man, if he does what he does best, Tommy Fleetwood, legendary, runner-up of all these events. -2 so far through 2 holes. That's a pretty damn good start for him, but he's still a ways back from the lead. But you know what? You shoot a 70 today, you'll be back in it, so we'll see. Will be an interesting day for the Masters for sure. And I had the wrong tab open. Oh, thank God I got the right channel on. Of course, Cody Latimer is back with the Brahmas. For those of you who did not know, he is a coach now for the team. He's like wide receiver, tight end coach. So that was really cool to see. You love to see these former players becoming a coach on these teams. We had one wide receiver that went to become a coach for the Showboats. We have another one here. It's great. Now, Cam Carter is, from what I remember seeing, he is inactive for this game. Of course, Cam Carter is the Marcus Sims trade. Right, they traded away Marcus Sims. They got Cam Carter. He is inactive, so that hurts. They're interviewing the GM of the Panthers. We rarely see this, so let's see what he has to say. Talking about good player. He's basically saying that Marcus Sims is a great receiver, but they have other receivers basically as good as him, and they would rather get an offensive tackle, is what it sounds like. Well, let's see if that works out for him, because yes, you have a few really solid receivers, but Marcus Sims has always been that deep threat kind of guy. Kind of bold, basically saying you got 6 receivers that are all kind of similar on that level. I don't know, man. Seems like a bit of a bold call. Of course, the game is on ABC, and then, of course, we have the St. Louis versus DC game. Now, I've heard stuff that it seems like they're going to announce where the championship game is in that next game, hence why a lot of people are saying it's going to be probably in St. Louis again, which, debatable topic. I know I'm not super excited. I've been to St. Louis twice. It just, to me, there's not much to do there aside from if you go see a Cardinals game. Right, because once you've seen the Arch, you've really seen it all in St. Louis, but is what it is. It's a shame that's probably what's going to be announced, but we'll see. Still got a few hours before that happens. But, of course, it's time for the Brahmas-Panthers game. See who gets the W here. Talking about A.J. Smith resigning, of course, massive news during the week. Then, of course, with the DC game after this, Greg Williams resigned. Well, he resigned for a different reason. He obviously left to go to Tennessee State with Reggie Barlow. And his son Blake is taking over as defensive coordinator of that team. As for the Brahmas, we'll see how this offense looks without A.J. Smith. It's either going to look really somehow worse or it's going to look a lot better. I really don't think it's going to be about the same. Peyton Pardee is, of course, the offense coordinator of this team now. So we'll end up seeing how it works for them. Going to keep the poll up till about kickoff. Once kickoff happens, I'll get rid of this poll. So make sure you vote on that if you haven't already on who will win the Brahmas or the Panthers. Let's see. Just looking at some of these other things going on Twitter right now, seeing what's going on, talking about when the games are on. I know that there's one network that, yeah, they're talking about how KSAT 12 in San Antonio is bad. Wow. Danny Etling is starting at quarterback. That's wild. So Danny Etling is starting this game. That's insane. I like that reply. Dude thinks he's playing 4D chess when he's really playing tic-tac-toe. Yeah, true. So Danny Etling is the starting quarterback for the Panthers for this game. That is a bit of a shock right there. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that one. I'm going to be honest. But hopefully it works out for him. But yeah, we'll see. Let's go back over here. I hope I didn't just miss something up. Man, this game, I really hope we get a good game here. We don't need another one of those poor games, but we'll see. Again, this is definitely a shock to see the Gatling start. Of course, the biggest issue I've had with Bryce Perkins as the starting quarterback of the Panthers, it's no secret. The issue is he is a dual-threat quarterback who essentially has been refusing to run the ball, and it's insanely aggravating watching him play like that, which is what I've said, where it's like, if he's not going to run the ball, I would rather not see him play, because then it just becomes aggravating. I would rather know my quarterback is mediocre, which is Danny Etling, than a quarterback that I know should be elite that's playing great football. So, yeah. Hello, how are you doing? Doing pretty good today, Norman. Again, we got hopefully a Panthers W incoming today, but we'll see. Which rant? The Bryce Perkins one or the one from yesterday? Because the one from yesterday was a pretty wild one. I mean, I thought that video was going to be like 20 minutes long, ended up being almost a half hour, but yeah, I had a lot to talk about because that game was not a good one, we'll say. The bets of the day by ESPN, man, gotta love all the betting talk. Aaron Dolan, of course, going to give us our analysts, but we'll see. Then, of course, last night, UFC card, Diego Lopez ended up losing to Volkanovski. Heard it was a really good card, but I am paying $80 for it. Kickoff is to San Antonio. They get to about the 25 on the return and get tackled at about the 27-yard line. So San Antonio is getting the ball first, meaning that Michigan is, of course, going to get the ball at the half. We will be closing the poll. Of course, the poll ended pretty much very, very much in favor of the Michigan Panthers, about 4-1. So pretty one-sided poll there. Of course, this game, the Panthers were favored, at least when I did my video, by about like 6 points, which I was kind of shocked at. They closed at 7.5, which I think is a bit bold, but we'll end up seeing exactly how it goes, but yeah. Alright, so let's see what happens. San Antonio, of course, Kellen Mond is a starting quarterback in shotgun with one man to his right. Drops back to throw, looks over the middle. Throws it over the middle for about a 7. Well, he was able to get another 2 yards, about a 9-yard gain on the first play for the San Antonio Brahmas. Already one of the best plays on offense this team has had in a while. Has been great so far. Let me see. I did not see that. Let me confirm that. In shotgun, once again, ball is snapped, and it's going to be a running back running for about a 7-yard gain, a first down for the Brahmas. Big play right there for him. Do they move away? Okay. Let's see what the Brahmas do here. 1st and 10, ball snap. Mond drops back to throw. Looks to his left. Throws it over the middle once again. It is going to be caught for about a 4-yard gain on the play for the San Antonio Brahmas right there. So far, very solid drive. Only been a few plays, but so far. Wade's getting up there. I have not heard that he is out, but I just haven't seen the James Larson tweet. But yeah. In shotgun once again, with one man to his left in the backfield. Let's see what happens here. Ball snapped. Looks to his left. Looks over the middle of the field. Throws it over the middle. It is going to be incomplete. Would have been a first down catch if it was good, but of course he did not make the catch. So big break right there for the Panthers on defense. Again, 3rd down, 3rd and 6. Let's see if they can pull this one off. Let's see what happens here. In shotgun. Once again, 3rd and 6. Let's see if the Panthers can't hold him here. Ball is snapped. Mond drops back to throw. Looks over to his left. He's going to throw a deep shot to the left, and it is going to be caught for a massive gain up to about the 25-yard line in Michigan territory. Massive play for the Brahmas right there. So far, this offense is looking a lot better than it was when A.J. Smith was there, which, again, it's only been one drive, but so far, really solid for him. Great throw by Mond right there. Something that he hasn't really been great at so far. That was a good play right there. Looks like they are going to be reviewing this. It might be an incomplete pass. They're going to probably check and see if his feet were in bounds. Let's see. Yep, Dean Blandino is reviewing this play. Let's see. They're still looking at it right now. Looks like this might be overturned. They're still debating it. They're trying to see if his right foot was down when he got control of the ball. They're still trying to look at this one. Of course, this could be a big one right here, but let's see. Of course, if this is incomplete, this does mean that San Antonio will be forced to punt as they would be at 4th and 6. If this is good, they are in field goal range immediately, so let's see what ends up happening here. The ruling on the field does stand, so this is a first down for the San Antonio Brahmas in field goal range right here. I'm 50 seconds behind. I hate ESPN broadcasts so much. Dude, ESPN Plus, baby. That's why I ended up deciding to do this one, because I was like, man, I could do ABC, I could do ESPN Plus, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this one. Let's see what they do here. Okay, they are at the 22-yard line in Michigan territory. Ball is snapped. They hand it off on first down. Runs up the middle for about a 1-yard gain with forward progress. Overall solid stop by the Michigan Panthers defense right there. Of course, the NBA and NHL playoffs are also around the corner. We get into that time of the year where we get a lot of sports going on all at once in terms of like big events going on. But right now, let's see what the Panthers can do here on defense. 2nd and 9, so they are going to call it a 1-yard gain. No surprise there. We got about 11 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock in the first quarter. Mond is in shotgun with one man to his right in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks to his right, immediately throws. It is going to be caught for about a 4-yard gain, and he gets about 2.5 more yards. This is going to be about a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2 right here for the San Antonio Brahmas. Of course, they are in field goal position, so they do not need a first down to score, though, of course, you do want to get a touchdown in your opening drive. With how the UFL has been so far, getting a touchdown in the first half is a massive deal, as we've seen very few of those this season, so let's see if they can pull it off here. They're going to call it 3rd and 2 on the field. It is going to be in shotgun once again with Kellen Mond. He has one running back with him in the backfield to his left. Let's see what happens here. Ball is snapped. Fakes it, or he does hand it off, going to the right, and he's going to maybe get it, depending on when they call him out of bounds. It's either going to be short by a yard, or it's going to be a first down. Let's see what they do here. What do you think the attendance looks? I would assume the attendance probably ends up being a bit less. Of course, losing your first game at home is never a good thing. It's why someone like DCL was not shocked their attendance ended up going up after their first week, because they got a massive upset. Same with Arlington staying relatively similar despite a lot of weather issues, but we'll see. Again, this is a close one, whether it's not a first down. It all depends on exactly when they call him out of bounds. They are going to call it 4th down, and the Brahmas are going for it. This is about a full yard away. This is one where it's debatable for me. Like I've always said, if it's less than a yard, you go for it. If it's a full yard, it's a bit tougher. Let's see if they get it. Ball snap, but it is going to be a false start on the San Antonio Brahmas. They will be forced to kick a field goal on the opening drive. Big penalty for the Brahmas right there. They lost any chance of going for it. Though some would say it might be a good thing for them because now they're guaranteed to get those 3 points instead of course, trying to go for a touchdown where it is very much possible that you end up failing. So, it sucks, but we'll see. Of course, destroying, or as the joke says, destroyer. Let's see if he can kick this field goal. This is a very short one, 36-yard field goal. Kick is up, and it's down directly in the middle. Great kick. And it is 3-0 San Antonio over Michigan with still 10 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Again, it's only been one drive, but this is a lot more scoring than we're used to in these opening drives or opening 5 minutes. So this is definitely a good thing. Again, that drive so far for the Brahmas was a very clean drive, one of the best drives they've had all year so far. So we'll end up seeing if they can keep that up. So far, though, really solid start for them. Let's see what's going on over here. Let's see, did Real Madrid pull off the W? Well, it is in the 10th extra minute, my God. As for the Masters, let's see. Tommy Fleetwood is still, he has not completed another hole. Still got a few other guys. Campbell ended up making a big run, but too little too late. Great round doesn't really mean anything when you're already down so much, so yeah. Wade Phillips, look at this. Yeah, Wade Phillips is out due to illness, as we've said. I just saw it again. But yeah, so this is another game. Because even though he was there the first game, this is essentially the second time in the last 3 weeks. Because, of course, the week 1 he was in the booth, so it wasn't fully head coaching. And losing your big OC, we'll see what ends up happening. All 3 good games have been Memphis games. Destroyer, dude. Destroyer and Temamu, those are 2 classic announcer moments. But yeah, Memphis, I mean, they've been in all good games. It's a shame they can't get off any W's because, I mean, if they had 2 wins, I think a lot of people would argue they're the best team in the league no matter what. But yeah. Again, with these games only being 3 hours, it really does suck that somehow, someway, the UFL screwed this up to where one of the big networks into the San Antonio era wouldn't be airing a game for the first hour of the game. Again, for those you don't know, I believe it's like KETV. I said it earlier, but it's like there's one TV news station channel in the San Antonio area that is going to be showing a like church service for like the first hour of this game, which is a big blow that's going to hurt TV ratings some for sure. But, you know, hopefully the Brahmas end up keeping this one close after that first hour. Again, 3-0 start. I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, but with this opening drive, maybe we get an actual good game in terms of high scoring, but we'll see. And seeing more of these UFL ads. When I was watching UFC a couple days ago, or like yesterday, did see some other, nice UFL ads in the bottom right, so you love to see that. I see Brahmas getting new coaching staff next season. I would agree. Because at this point, again, through 3 games, Wade Phillips has been the head coach on the sideline for one of them. He was in the booth 1 week. He's out this week. He just lost his longtime OC because of disputes between them. I would agree. It's getting to that point where Wade, he is a very old coach. He loves to do it, but we'll see if he ends up being back next season. I would not be too shocked if he leaves just because of his age and all that. Again, he's had a couple of really solid years in this league and the XFL, hasn't won a championship, but so far has gotten to the playoffs twice. Solid season so far. Where both teams score 20 to 30 points. I mean, that's asking for a lot, but maybe we get one today. Though I don't think it's going to be the next game, because, the Battlehawks defense against Teamu. Kick is up. It is going to be got at about the 3-yard line, up to the 15, up to the 20, up to about the 25. Ooh, if he had broken that tackle, he would have gotten about another 10 yards, but still going to get the ball at about the 30-yard line. Again, Danny Etling is the starting quarterback for today, despite being listed as the second one he is. I've got the game on ABC right next to me. It's just that, ABC is much faster than ESPN+. If you're on ESPN+, you've probably got, roughly a minute delay, 30 seconds to a minute delay compared to ABC. And usually my overall coverage is a lot faster than other people's local antenna as well. So let's see. Danny Etling is in shotgun with one man to his right. Let's see what happens here. Ball is snapped. He does hand it off, and it's going to be tackled for maybe a half-yard loss. Might call it a yard loss right there. Now let's see what Michigan can do here. Interim head coach, then Jack Pardee. Again, this game for the Brahmas, it sucks that they're missing their head coach for this one again, but again, they are kind of used to it thanks to the week 1 game where he's in the booth overall, so it's not like the worst thing that happened. It's not like if another team had their head coach being out, which would be a much bigger difference, but yeah. 2nd and 10 for Danny Etling, one man to his left in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks to his left, quick throws to his left. It's going to be caught for about a 7.5, maybe an 8-yard gain. Ooh, that's not good. He's very slow to get up, not looking too hot right there. He did get up though. But again, really solid play on 2nd down. Gotta take it. Is that why sometimes your stream is one play ahead of mine and the next stream mine is ahead of yours? Yeah, if the game's on ESPN, I'm on ESPN Plus, and ESPN is faster than ESPN Plus, obviously. But if the game's on Antenna TV, I've always got it really fast. That's the most common way to do it. Is that because ESPN Plus, it's streaming. Streaming is always slower than everything else. So yeah, ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Etling throws it. It's going to be incomplete. That would have been a nice first down play. It was a cool play design, but it did not end up working. They're going to have to punt this on 4th and 2 unless they decide to go for a very ballsy play here. Yep, they are going to be punting it here. We haven't really seen any fake punts. We've seen a few of them in the past couple of years by Mike Nolan. Maybe now's the time for a fake punt. We'll see. Perkins would have gotten that. If you said that last year, I would say that. This year, I don't know, man. If he has to run for a first down, he usually chooses to not run for a first down, which is the big issue I've had with him this season. They are going to be punting it. It is up, and it is going to be recovered or returned at about the 5-yard line. Huge punt right there. Gets up to the 10. There is a flag on the field. Up to the 15, up to the 20. Gets tackled at about the 21-yard line, though. Again, there is a flag on the field. Let's see what this flag is for. Again, if this is on the Brahmas, this will be a huge blow for them, even if it's on the return, because that means they're going to get a really bad field position. Let's see, though. Holding on the receiving team. So this is going to be a pretty bad start for them right there. Crowd not looking too bad for Michigan standards. I mean, so far Michigan, again, we'll see what their number is today, but so far Michigan has continued to be one of the best overall attendance teams when it comes to improving. Of course, last season they were like the only team to actually go up in attendance from the year prior, according to Mike Mitchell, who got the numbers from the 2023 season, but never was able to publicly release them. Then this season they had their first 10K game, and then if this week is even remotely near that, it's a solid week, but we'll end up seeing. Of course, I know people are going to say, oh, it's a tickets distributed number. Yeah, but it's still the attendance number. Every single sports league does it like that. They're blowing this play right here. Let's see what this is. Again, because of the penalty, they're going to be getting the ball at the 10-yard line in their own territory. Definitely a really bad start for them. Looks like they're going to move it back a few more yards because of the penalty. Yep, they just reviewed it, and so the Brahmas are not getting the ball at the 10. They're getting the ball at about the 2-yard line. This is potential safety territory for the Panthers that they could get depending on what play this Brahmas do. Again, this league is a big thing about players or plays going out of shotgun. When you're in the red zone, your own red zone, or your own end zone, I should say, doing plays out of shotgun is a very bold move, and I'm not a fan of it. But we'll see what happens here. They are in shotgun, so Michigan is able to get a good pass rush here or stop the running back. They can do it, get a safety here, so let's see. Bit of motion in front, ball snap. They hand it off, and he does get about 2.5 yards on the first down play, so he's getting back to the 5-yard line. UFL higher-ups hate the Brahmas. I don't know about that one. Like, last week, I saw a lot of people complain about, like, the fumbles and all that. From all the replays I saw, like, the touchdowns that were called touchdowns by the replay review and the fumbles were all pretty obvious. It wasn't like the Panthers one, or not the Panthers, like the Stallions one, where the Stallions player was out of bounds and they called it inbounds. Like, the ones last week were pretty obvious for the Brahmas, but let's see here. 2nd and 7 for the Brahmas. One man to his right in the backfield. Bit of double motion, motioning one guy back. Ball is snapped. They hand it off in the middle again, and it's going to be another 2.5, maybe 3-yard gain, depending on exactly where he was there. So this is going to be about 3rd and medium, 3rd and slightly long, about 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5-ish. Let's see what they can do here. Again, Michigan get a stop here that's going to help win them the field position battle. Of course, you punted the ball, got them thanks to a penalty, stuck within the 5-yard line. And if they end up having to punt before the 10, you're going to get the ball in really solid field position, barring like an insane punt by Wayne. Of course, Breland Speaks is out for the Michigan Panthers right now. Obviously, he's on IR, so he's going to miss a minimum of 5 games, which definitely hurts, but is what it is so far with the Panthers. I believe it's 5-game minimum. Kellen Mond is in shotgun, ball snap. He is going to throw it. He's looking to his right, looking over the middle, and he is going to be sacked for about a 4-yard loss, depending on exactly where they give him forward progress. Massive play. See, that is the issue Kellen Mond has had. I've seen a lot of people blame his offensive line. That right there is not on the offensive line. He had more than enough time to either A, throw the ball to a receiver, or B, throw the ball away. He held on to it way too long, and so he just took a massive sack. Luckily for him, he didn't drop back 2 more steps because he was borderline in that end zone. If he had taken a sack a bit earlier, could have been bad. But luckily for him, he stepped up when he got hit and was able to end up gaining a couple yards back from where he would have lost it. But still, very awful drive for the Brahmas right there. They're going to have to punt this ball on 4th and 7. And they're going to be punting out of their own end zone. Punt is up, nearly blocked. It is going to be caught at the 42-yard line. Let's see what return we can get here. Up to the 45, gets tackled almost immediately, but he stands up. He dodged the tackle. He keeps going, but he gets tackled by his ankles. It gets to a 50-yard line. That was a great tackle by that last Brahmas defender or return coverage guy. That was almost really bad for the Brahmas. But in the field position battle, like I said in my in-depth review video, special teams is a huge important factor in these games. Field position is a special teams dominated position kind of thing. And right now the Panthers looking pretty good there. Again, this drive, they only need about 20 yards to get in a long field goal range, though BT Potter has been questionable at kicker this season. We'll see if he ends up making it, but so far, really solid opening area for the Panthers in this drive. Again, score is 3-0, still in the first quarter, obviously. What a game so far. Let's look at this over here. The Brahmas, man, that was not what you want to see. That was a bad Kellen Mond play right there. Just holding onto the ball way too much. That's the kind of thing that you just cannot do, is hold the ball for just that long. And that's exactly what they did, which is just insane. Hate to see it, but it is what it is sometimes, right? Let's see what's going on in the Twitter world. I saw that the Brahmas only have 4 home games this year, and they don't have their opener. Like, the main thing is the Final Four. The college Final Four in the NBA, or not the NBA, in March Madness, of course, was in San Antonio, so they lost a couple of theirs. I don't remember the exact reason for why, like, this point in the time there isn't, but basically there's just a lot of stuff going on at the wrong time for the UFL's perspective. And because of the fact that it's, the UFL, it's not like the NFL, are not going to be able to bully people out of the arena, or the stadium, I should say. So that's why they kind of get screwed over there. So they only have 4 home games, and their 5th home game is going to be in St. Louis, which of course is a big blow for them. Real Madrid did pull off the W. That's big for them. Let's see what's going on in the golf world. Did he end up shooting another birdie? Doesn't look like it. What happened to Tommy Fleetwood? He's even. Man, he had a double bogey. That sucks for him. He was about to look like he was going to have another really good run so far. Again, the big players don't really tee off till about like 1:30 is when we get the big ones start to go up. So yeah, Disney on Ice, that's it. I remember the March Madness. I forgot what the other events that are going on. So yeah, that sounds about right. Again, we'll see if Danny Etling comes out at quarterback once again, or if it's going to be back to Bryce Perkins. Again, Bryce Perkins has been one of the most aggravating players this season because we all know his potential, and he's shown it, especially in Week 1, but he just refuses to utilize his legs to the degree that he needs to, but we'll see. Interviewing Colin Bauer right now on the sideline, DC of the Michigan Panthers after that great stoppage right there. Talking about the Brahmas trying to commit to run the ball. Again, so far the ground game for the Brahmas has been one of the most disappointing parts of their team. Of course, when you have guys like Anthony McFarland and John Lovett returning for your team, you kind of expected that ground game to be really good, and so far it really hasn't. Again, like I've talked about before, aside from really Jacob Sailors, the ground game as a whole in the league hasn't been that good this year. So yeah, all that for Elson Olaf. Okay. Danny Etling is still in at quarterback. They're getting the ball at the 50-yard line exactly. He is in shotgun with one man to his left in the backfield. Let's see what they do here. Motioning him to his right. Excuse me. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Etling's running out to his right. He's going to throw it. It's going to be incomplete. That was a great pass by Etling. That was one of those things where the receiver was trying to run instead of just catch the ball. That was a bad play right there. Let's see his replay. It hit him right in the hands. It may have gotten tipped a little bit, but that hit him right in the hands. He should have caught that ball for sure. You know what? I hate to say it, but a certain player they just traded away probably would have caught that ball. Granted, he wouldn't have been running that route, but still. I'll answer that question. I'll see what G-Major said in a second. Again, we're in shotgun once again. Danny Etling has one man to his right who he's sending out. It's going to be 5 wide. Not fully 5 wide, but pretty much. Ball is snapped. Looks over to his left. Still looking to his left. And he's rolling out. He needs to throw this ball away or he's going to run for it. He's going to run to the right. He does throw it, and it is going to be caught at the sideline. Great throw and catch. That is something that you expect Bryce Perkins to do. Instead, that was by Danny Etling. Cole Hicatini with a brilliant catch on the sideline. But it looks like that might be Etling who's down. I can't see for sure. That might be roughing the passer right there. It sounds like that was roughing the passer. The mics weren't working, but that definitely was. It was a 15-yard penalty. Looks like, again, that was a great play by Danny Etling. That was something that Perkins so far this season hasn't done insanely well. But that was great right there. But, of course, he is still down. That's not what you want to see. TBH with a dispute about how the offense should be run. AJ Smith is the cause for the disappointing ground game. He wanted to be a passing offense. Yeah, but a part of that is also when you look at back at it last season, they had a really solid ground game. Because when you have such a threat of a passing game, it's like the opposite. When you have a really good ground game, you get some help on the passing front with play action. It's very similar in that sense that when you run the ball, teams won't fully expect it. And, of course, that really helped because guys like Anthony McFarland were taking screen passes for like 50 yards. So it's kind of weird, but yeah. Ooh, that was definitely a rough hit right there to Etling, who got downed immediately. Again, the Panthers are in field goal range, but it looks like they're going to have to put in Bryce Perkins, and I'm saying they're going to have to because, of course, they wanted to start Etling. Just as Etling does an incredible play, they end up having to do this. Looking at the review, they're saying that because of where he hit him, it is a roughing the passer penalty. It wasn't because he hit him late, because it really wasn't a late hit, but because of where he hit him, it was. So Bryce Perkins is in at quarterback after the injury to Danny Etling. Ball is snapped, handed off immediately to the right. He gets about 2.5, probably just 2 yards on that run for the Michigan Panthers. It is going to be 2nd and about 8. They might call it 2nd and 7, though that's a long 7 if they do. Panthers tight end room, Cole Hicatini, Gunnar Oaks. Pretty solid room. Let's see what we do here in 2nd and 8. Again, we need to see some Bryce Perkins running. Again, we haven't seen too many read option plays, like legit read option plays. Hopefully we see some more of that. Again, Perkins has the legs for that, and that is part of what makes him such a dangerous quarterback, but we'll see. One man to his right in the backfield with him. Motioning receiver from his left to his right. Motioning his running back to his left now. 5 seconds on the play clock. Ball is snapped. And it is a read option play. That's what we wanted to see. And Perkins runs to the left and gets about 6 yards on the play. That is what this offense has been missing the past 2 weeks. When you have Bryce Perkins in at quarterback, the read option play should be one of the most broken, utilized plays on your team. That is what you wanted to see. He was able to get a bunch of yards there. Wasn't able to get the first down. He slid. Almost a borderline late hit, but I don't really think that was a late hit. But that's what you wanted to see. 3rd and 2 for the Panthers. Again, that's what we've been missing from Bryce Perkins the past 2 weeks and what I've been clamoring for. This is what we want to see. 3rd and 2, Perkins is in shotgun with one man to his right in the backfield. He's got one receiver far left. Motioning his one from his right to his left. Motioning back to the right. Handed off in the middle, and it is a 1st down and then about 4 more yards. See, that's why you use the read option play. Because now you have instilled fear in the defense that it is possible that Perkins would keep that ball and run. So now you do the run up the middle. It's a bit easier. 1st down, Michigan Panthers, 1st and goal. If Michigan is so concerned about Perkins getting hurt, they need to run a 2 QB system. That's what I talked about in week 1. In week 1, I said that part of me has that kind of theory that they're wanting Perkins to be as healthy as possible, and that's why they've been putting Etling in a lot. That was my theory in week 1. Well, let's either do here 1st and goal at about the 8-yard line. Perkins is by himself in the backfield in 5 wide, and he gets almost immediately sacked. There was very little blockage right there by the Panthers' offensive line. Just kind of got beat right there. Going to be 2nd and goal at about the 12-yard line for the Panthers right there. Again, that is part of the issue when you run plays out of shotgun, of course, especially when you're doing with no running back near you. You run that risk of taking a sack, and you're going to lose about 5 yards. 2nd and goal for the Panthers here. Let's see what they do here. Hire Mike Riley if you can't figure it out. True. They're actually getting the ball at about the 14-yard line here for 2nd and goal. Once again, lining up in 5 wide, pretty bold. They might even be doing almost the exact same play here. Let's see. They're showing a lot of pass rushers. Dropped a few back. There is a penalty flag. Looks like it's probably going to be a Michigan. Let's see. Yep, delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. This started off as a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Now they're going to be back at almost the 20 on second and goal. That is not what you want to see right there. So I'll see what they do here again. They are at the 19-yard line now in 2nd and goal, which is not what you want to see. Perkins is in shotgun with one man to his right. 5 seconds of play clock. Ball is snapped. Looks to his right. Looks over the middle. Going to throw over the middle. It's going to be caught. And it's going to be back to about the 11-yard line. So they're getting basically where they were not even a couple plays ago. 3rd and goal here. This is where you get into kind of scary territory because if you get about 2 yards away from the end zone, do you go for the touchdown or not? Again, we're still in the 1st quarter, but we got enough time for basically 3 plays here. Again, do you want to come out of this quarter tied 3-3 or do you want to have the lead at least 6-3? Let's see what this play call is. 3rd and goal for the Panthers here. Would not be too shocked if some sort of play action, read option play. 1 man in the backfield with Perkins to his left. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Ball is snapped. Drops back to throw. Looks over to his right. Looks over the middle. Scrambling a bit. Scrambling to his left now. He needs to throw this away, and he just gets a massive sack. You cannot do that. That was really poor by Bryce Perkins. That's on Perkins, not the offensive line. It comes to a point where you need to do something right there. He kept holding onto the ball. He just lost the team a bunch of yardage. This makes it a much tougher kick on Potter. And when you see something like this makes it to the point where Potter misses the field goal. It's hard for me as a fan or an analyst to actually blame Potter for missing the kick because this is roughly 10 yards lost by Perkins that should not have been lost. Terrible play by Perkins right there. 4th and goal for the Panthers, and they're going to be kicking a long field goal. Remember, this is 4th and goal, and it's going to be a long field goal. Not like super long, but it's going to be a longer one. A 44-yarder on 4th and goal is horrid. Kick is up, and it is no good. No, it's blocked. Kick was blocked. They're returning it to the right. Keep returning it. They're still inbounds, but he goes out of bounds. That was terrible for the Panthers right there. That was a horrible end of that drive right there. Not what you want to see. And then goes to a few Brahmas fans on the sideline. Just did not block it. Did not block the defender. Just got right up through. What the heck? Awful goal line sequence for Michigan. Not what you want to see at all. That was bad. That was some pretty rough football to watch for the Panthers right there. Now the Brahmas get the ball at the 45 in Michigan territory with 3 seconds left in the quarter. Ball is snapped, drops back, throw, looks over to his left. Throws a bit of a check down, going to be about a 7-yard gain on the play. Terrible right there. Cinema, we suck goal line sequence. Yeah, goal line in quotation marks is a good one for sure. That's just terrible right there for Michigan. Again, that's part of the issue when you're just doing plays out of shotgun, like I said. It's just, that's not good. This is kind of why I figured this might be a low-scoring game. In that scenario right there, especially in that 3rd down play, deciding to do a straight pass and shotgun, when you've already lost yardages on one play because of some poor decision-making, a delay of game, doing something like that again, bit of a question mark. Bryce Perkins doing his best Alex Magoo impression to not throw the ball away. Really aggravating. Sucks to see, but let's see if the defense can bail him out again. Yeah, it's to the point now where, like I said, I feel like Memphis really screwed themselves yesterday. Like, I'm sorry, G-Man, but Memphis needed that win yesterday because that win yesterday, I think that they're all but almost a lock for the playoffs. Them losing that game really sets them back. If Michigan can somehow pull this game out of their, just somehow win this game, that'd be huge for them. But, man, it ain't looking too good for them either. You know what I mean? I don't know if I've seen an 0-3 team this good, because at least, like, Arlington was really solid at 0-3 last year as well, but Memphis, you could argue in terms of how they've played, are like the second best team to play when it comes to how their offense and defense have been playing, whereas Arlington last year, offense was always solid, but it wasn't like this level of being top of the league, which might be worse, because then it's like, man, your team is great, but you can't win games. While we're in commercial break, let's look at the Masters right now. Bit of movement so far. Again, McNeely got a birdie so far. Again, Hideki's gotten -4, so he's back to even on the tournament. Bit of movement overall. Let's see who has the best day so far. Showing a bunch of -1. So far, the best day is Campbell, who's at -4. Hideki's at -4, but neither of them are, to a point where it really matters for them necessarily. Kim is -2 through 3, so he's also actually kind of getting up there. He's just a couple strokes away from being like tied 6th, so solid so far for Michael Kim. We'll see if he can keep that up. But yeah. Let's look at Twitter. Awful goal line sequence for Michigan. Yes, for sure. LeBron James. Blocked kick, man. That's so bad. Awful sequence for the Panthers. Man, this is what I mean with watching Bryce Perkins. Like, you know what he can do, and it's like every week so far this year, aside from week 1, it's just been oof. But yeah. Doing some interviews on the sideline again. Of course, we are on ESPN, ABC, but ESPN broadcast. Bad snap, talking about the block kick right there, talking to Keys. Former 7th-round pick in the NFL. I can't wait for the St. Louis Battlehawks versus the DC Defenders. Hopefully that game lives up to the hype. I know early on the spread was really wild. I think that game's going to be a pretty close one, all things considered. because St. Louis has not played a defense remotely as good as DC yet. You played a week 1 Roughnecks defense, and then you play the Brahmas defense. This DC defense is a great one. I don't think that the loss of Greg Williams is going to be that much of a bit difference. I think it's going to be a bit weaker of a defense, but still going to be a really solid unit, all things considered. But we'll see. If Manny Wilkins can play really well again, yikes, because Teamu so far has not played really well, but we'll see. 2nd and 3 for the San Antonio Brahmas here. Again, they are in Michigan territory at about the 37-yard line. Ball is snapped, bit of fake, and they do hand it off, and he runs out to the right and gets tackled at about the line of scrimmage for about a 0-yard gain right there. Time for 3rd down again. If Michigan can somehow stop them here again, if they get about like a yard and a half, this is kind of 4-down territory. Of course, this is around no man's land. When you're in like that 40 to 50-yard line in your opposing territory, it's pretty difficult to really do anything justifiably. You can't really kick a field goal you ain't kicking a field goal there unless you got like the best kicker in the league, which I don't think the Brahmas do. You know, you ain't going to really want to punt it either because then you're only gaining about like 20, 30 yards of field position. So we'll see what they do here. I mean, they're a bit close in the 40-yard line, but still, this is with destroying, we'll see. Snap is up, and he gets hit as he throws. That is going to be incomplete. Defender was completely unblocked, was able to get in quick enough to force a pretty ignorant throw, incomplete pass, 4th and 3. I wouldn't go for it here. I would kick it if you're San Antonio. I get it's a long field goal, or hell, I would just kick it in some regards. 4th and 3 is a pretty bold decision to do here. It doesn't fully eliminate you running the ball, but it makes it pretty difficult to justify running the ball and you get 3 yards, especially when so far your ground game this season has not been all that great. But let's see what they do. They are going to be... Looks like they are going to be kicking it here. 55-yard field goal attempt for destroying. Let's see if he can make this kick. Makes this kick. You know this is going on the rounds on social media. Kick is up, and it is good. Destroyer makes the field goal. It is 6-0 San Antonio over Michigan after Donald De La Hoya makes that great kick right there. That is something I know a lot of Brahmas fans have been wanting to see, is him actually making these difficult kicks. Love to see it right there. 6-0 San Antonio over Michigan. Again, the Michigan defense, once again, bailing out the special teams of Michigan, right? Michigan blocked field goal, terrible return coverage. Again, it's a block kick, you're not expected return, but coverage, but still. And the defense bails them out. So let's see what happens after this. 6-0, man. Donald De La Hoya making the kick. Insane. More people complaining about Kellen Mond on Twitter. They miss Jake Bates, bruh. Don't say that name, that hurts to hear. Let's see if Michigan can actually do something here this time. Destroy made the kick. Gotta love it. Him actually doing something. Of course, when you have... I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of him, but the fact is that him doing well, of course, is good because he's good. It's going to make the rounds on social media. It's going to get eyes on the league. Making that kick is definitely good for him. Kickoff is up. It's about the 5-yard line. Return is to the 15, to the 20, to the 25. Gets hit and about to the 29-yard line there. Yeah, that was a good kick. I mean, 55-yard field goal and was pretty much dead on in the middle. That was a solid one right there. Hockey Night Watch. Again, if it ain't playoffs right now, because, I mean, we kind of know all the teams in playoffs. Like, I know the Canadians haven't clinched, at least at the time, like, yesterday, but they've basically clinched. And the West is the same way. Like, yeah, Minnesota hasn't clinched, but they've basically clinched. Speaking of clinching, pause. Nikola Jokic clinched the triple-double on the season. He is MVP. If they give it to Shea, I mean... It's the NBA. It's the Narrative Basketball Association when it comes to the awards. Because the MVP is Jokic, not Shea, and it's not even close. But they're probably going to give it to Shea. Ball is snapped, handed off on first down, runs over to the left, and gets about 1.5 yards on the first down play. Yeah, Jokic should get MVP. I stand by the fact that he should be a 3 straight MVP. The first one he got, I believe, was the year that I think Giannis should have won it again. They didn't give it to him because of voter fatigue. Then Jokic should have won it 3 straight years because the year Embiid won it, Jokic was better than Embiid, and he should have won it this year. So I think he should have the same amount of MVPs, but he should have changed one of the years. I think Giannis got screwed one year. 2nd and 8 for the Panthers. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks over to his right, looks over to his left. It throws a little bit of a screen pass, and it gets broken up immediately for about a 4-yard loss. Terrible, terrible play for the Panthers right there. Well, mainly it just comes from the fact that destroying, There was rumors, I think it was Isaac Punts made a video talking about how he basically said that Destroying did not deserve the kicking job, that he kicked worse than his competitor last year and kind of got given the job. That kind of started it because, a lot of people fully believe everything about that. And it kind of made this idea that he got given it. And then, of course, the contract things heading into the season about him demanding, I don't know how true they were, certain things. That's kind of what made some people turn him off. Ball snap, Perkins drop back. He gets hit, but he's still up, rolling out to his right. He's still rolling, and he's going to run for it, and he gets about 1.5 yards there. So they're going to have to punt it. Awful drive for the Michigan Panthers right there. Isaac Punts is trying to return to pro football. Really? I did not know that. That's wild. I didn't hear about that. Perkins trying to run, but this time, he runs this time, but not when there's 15 yards of open space in front of him against the defending champions. You gotta love it. So great. I love that. It is what it is, though. Gonna have to punt it here. Again, really, really bad for the Panthers so far. Not what you want to see. Punt is up. It's going to be about the 25-yard line when it's recovered. Rolls out to his right, gets to the 30-yard line, keeps going, gets tackled at about the 36-yard line. This team might be cooked. I hate to say it, Brandon, but true. Ain't looking good for us. I think it's the one league that's finally starting, AFL, I think. I don't know. No, there's the AF1 is now, or the AFL is now the AF1. I believe their season's already started. You have the IFL and you have the IFA, the International Football Alliance, which is supposed to start this year, but they've been supposed to start this year for the past, 4 years. I don't know, maybe 3 years, something like that, but I don't know. But yeah, as for Michigan, like I said at the beginning of the stream, they got really bailed out by Memphis losing yesterday. This is a game they need to win. If Michigan loses this game, it's going to be very hard for me to see them make the playoffs. When you lose 3 of your top 7 players within 48 hours, that's awful. That trade, I don't think it's going to age well. I think it's very similar to the Luis Perez trade. It's a trade that did not make sense in a player for player, position for position, not really. And it ended up really hurting one team, helping the other team. I mean, hey, the Roughnecks are undefeated with Marcus Sims. Hey, don't say that. Dude, if Houston wins the championship because of Marcus Sims, oh my gosh. Don't say that. I don't remember exactly how well he played, because I know he didn't play a lot because of obvious reasons. He just joined the team. I mean, hell, Cam Carter's inactive, which is aggravating that you traded for a guy and then he's inactive. Yeah, Marcus Sims had 3 receptions for 15 yards. It wasn't like he did a ton, but he still 3 receptions for 15 yards. He did more than Cam Carter's going to do today. Can't believe Perez got traded. What a moment in spring football history. Yeah, losing Colburn speaks, and Sims, yikes. Insane. I used to pray for times like these, bro. If San Antonio wins and puts up over 17 points, I think I'll start Peyton Pardee for the 2026 head coach chain. Hey, I wouldn't be fully against it. I mean, if they win by putting up points on offense, it makes A.J. Smith look bad, which hurts him and hurts his legacy a lot. It really does. Columbus Showboats. So if that ends up happening, it will be cool to see for the Brahmas and their fans, but man, it would suck if you're A.J. Smith. Because, this is a Hail Mary play by A.J. Smith. Because if this offense looks worse without him, then it makes him look really good. But if they look better without him, and they stay this way, yikes. Again, it's important that this isn't just 1 week. Because like I've always said, backup quarterbacks in the NFL, people wonder why they always play really well the first game they're in. It's because there's, no film on them with the team that they're on, right? It's very similar to offensive coordinator kind of thing. It's about being good for multiple consecutive games, not just one game. Because, any coach can become the OC or DC and then have an incredible game because the teams just have no idea what the game plan for. And then, they know what the game plan for, and then you can't adjust. Just like backup quarterbacks. It's why they're usually still backup quarterbacks. Because once you know what they do, they ain't that great. But they're still good enough to be backups, obviously. Kellen Mond, still in at quarterback, questionably. Let's see what they do here. 5-7, 57 yards, really solid stats there, but of course some of the stats that aren't being shown there, like the sacks he's taken. We'll see what he does here, though. 1st and 10, for the Brahmas at about the 36-yard line in Brahmas territory. Ball is snapped, hands it off, run up the middle. It is a wide open run. It is up to the 40, the 35. A massive run for Anthony McFarland right there. That's what we've been missing from this ground game by the Brahmas. And overall team is the McFarland big play. Terrible defense by the Michigan Panthers. He just ran up almost directly in the middle and got a huge gain right there. Massive play for Anthony McFarland. Looks like the Panthers do call a timeout here. Their first timeout of the half is being called. Wow, that is a massive run for them. They're basically back in field goal range right now. Huge play. Anthony McFarland, of course, did this a lot last year. Would have basically one 40-yard play every single week. So that's what you've been missing. Insane. Anthony Miller not covering this game live right now. He is apparently hiking. Who would have thought not AJ Smith, bruh? 1st and 10 for the Brahmas. Let's see if they can pull it off here. Get some sort of decent play. In shotgun, one man to his left, two receivers to his left, one fully out to his right. Ball is snapped, fakes the handoff, drops back to throw, looks over to his left, throws a deep pass, and it is too high, incomplete. Honestly, that's not a play I'm too upset about. Like I've said before, when you throw a pass like that, you would rather it be kind of uncatchable than potentially underthrown. While it's not a great pass, I'm not going to sit here and act like that was an awful pass by Kellen Mond. It was, we'll call, a not good pass. But it wasn't a bad pass. Yeah, the Showboats attendance is really aggravating because on one hand, it's technically a good sign that their attendance went up despite being 0-2, but even then, your attendance went up from horrifically bad to horrifically bad. You know what I mean? Ball is snapped, looks to his right, quick throws the screen over to Anthony McFarland, who breaks a guy, almost breaks another guy's ankles, ends up getting about 5 yards, going to be about 3rd and 5 for the Brahmas right here. Yes, they were originally the Bandits. They were the Bandits back in 2022, and then because of merch sales was the reason given, they ended up changing them. Though I think a lot of rumors are that they've tried to get a stadium in Tampa and they really couldn't get one, or it didn't look like there was even a chance, and that's why they kind of used the excuse to go to Memphis. Not official, just certain rumors. 3rd and 4, they hand it off, and it is a first down. The ground game is looking much better so far under Party than it was under AJ Smith. AJ Smith right now is punching the air while upset because this is not what you want to see if you're him. This is just making your stock go down. 9 minutes and 38 seconds left. Score is 6-0 San Antonio over Michigan. Again, they are in field goal range. Let's see what Mon does here. No receivers to his left. All of them are to his right. Well, Cyberman tight end, obviously. Ball snap. He looks over the middle. He's going to throw it over the middle. Going to be caught for about 8.5. Or they're going to probably call this an 8.5 yard gain for the Brahmas. Going to be about 2nd and 1, maybe 2nd and 2, but that would be a very short 2nd and 2. Yep, they're calling it 2nd and 2. This should be a relatively short 2nd and 2. I wouldn't say that fully because so far through 2 weeks, the league has been much different than last year. The Stallions are a much weaker top team this year. The Showboats, despite being 0-3, are a much better team. The Defenders and Renegades are looking a lot better than last year. So, it is true to a point, but this year has been a lot different so far. They hand the ball off, and it is a first down run for the Brahmas. They get to about the 10-yard line. Might be 1st and goal is what they're probably going to call this. So, yeah. Again, the John Lovett McFarland combo was a really good one last year for the few games that McFarland played. Of course, he came into the team relatively late. And this is the first week it's looking like what it was last year, which is, of course, huge for the Brahmas and their fans. Showboat's going a 5-game win streak. Okay. It would be cool to see, but I don't know. Anthony McFarland Jr. showing his yards per rush. Yeah, it helps me have a long 40-yard rush. Like, come on. Ball is snapped. Mon drops back. Throws it to his right. It's going to be a bit of an airmailed pass that is incomplete. Again, it was a bit of a worse play than the last throw because that one was potential to be an interception, but still not the worst throw in the world. jerseys drop. Talk about the Battlehawks being posted on X. "109-yard return by Henny in Week 6. Okay. Jay Adams has 200 yards next week. G-Man and there's solid 6 people in this stadium would go crazy. 2nd and goal for the Brahmas at the 10-yard line still. Ball is snapped. Mon drops back to throw. Looks to his left. Looks over the middle of the field. He's scrambling. He's still scrambling. He breaks away from a potential tackle, and he just throws the ball away. That's a solid play right there. He needed to do that a little while ago, but better late than never. 3rd and goal from the 10-yard line. Again, if Michigan can somehow stop him again here, that would be huge. Force another field goal, but let's see. 3rd and goal at the 10-yard line still. Back-to-back incomplete passes for the Brahmas. Again, this is sometimes where you're kind of getting a bit, you're kind of overcomplicating things. So far, your ground game has been working really well, and you do back-to-back pass plays. A very questionable decision right there, but we'll see. Dresserwin plays the second half of the Michigan game and throws 300 yards. Okay. They got one man in the backfield with Mon to his left, 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. And there's a bunch of motion. That should be a false start on everybody but the center right there. That looked like the whole team right there. But he's calling timeout, it looks like. Nope. Tried to get the timeout off, but didn't work. Tried to call a timeout, wasn't able to get it off, so it's a false start on the Brahmas. They're going to be at 3rd and goal from the 15-yard line. This is looking a lot like that last time the Panthers were in the red zone right there. Hell, this is looking a lot like the Renegades and Brahmas, the Stallions, where they couldn't score in the red zone despite being there like 5 times. Let's see what they do here. Again, they're going to have to throw it here. You can't really run the ball here. You could have maybe done it, but yeah. Just tuning in. Describe this game in 3 words or less. Go. Red zone inefficiency. Again. So far, the Brahmas are at 3rd and goal at the 15-yard line, and the Panthers were somehow worse when it comes to the red zone or the goal line. So, let's see. Ball is snapped. Mon drops back, looks to his left, throws it, and it's incomplete. That was just a bad catch right there. So, yes, this is another red zone efficiency game. Again, the Panthers got the ball in the red zone. They ended up kicking a field goal that was a 44-yarder. They were at 1st and goal. So, let that sink in for how bad the red zone game has been so far. And they missed it because it got blocked, by the way. Destroying did hit a 55-yard field goal, so that was huge, of course, for social media and all that. And we just saw a bad incomplete pass because it was just a bad catch. Destroying is up for another field goal. Could be 3-3 today if he makes this. This is just a 33-yarder. It is up, and it is a bit sketchy, but it is good. A red zone TD would feed families, true. Michigan so far getting bailed out. Again, this is like the Renegades Stallions game from a couple nights ago. The Brahmas not scoring a touchdown here keeps Michigan in it. Despite scoring 3 times, this is officially still a 1-score game. 1 touchdown with a 3-point extra point attempt. It's a tie game. Oh, we've been in the second quarter for a bit, I believe. But definitely not what you want to see if you're a Brahmas fan. Project NFL gonna go crazy this week. Okay. Let's see. Danny Etling was just elevated for a concussion, or evaluated for a concussion. The emergency QB is, of course, going to be Rocky Lombardi. UFL newsroom showing a clip of James Larson throwing a football, bro, on the sideline. Of course, taking photos while at the game. Gotta love UFL insiders also being cameramen. Dallas fans down bad this week. Stars on a 5-game losing streak. Rangers got whooped. Renegades choked. The Renegades game, man. That was bad. And, of course, the Mavericks exist. God, I'm so happy they traded Luka for a bag of chips, basically. Like, win now, my ass, bro. You traded for Anthony Davis. Stop. This is Anthony Davis, bro. Man, ain't nobody care about AD anymore. He just got... Dude, when he got hurt, like, the first game he played for the Mavericks, I was like, man, Nico Harrison deserves this. Again, so far, it's still about 1 o'clock, so we haven't had any of the massive players start for the Masters so far. Again, looking at it, Campbell is now -5 in the day, having a really solid day, but he's down to even. He's just trying to, get some nice money. Because, of course, in the Masters, you get a ton of money for making the cut, but you get a lot more the higher up you go. Kim, -2 for the day so far. He's the highest of all the active players right now. Though Spieth is tied with him, and he's only played 1 hole. Spieth is still technically in striking distance if, Connors, DeChambeau, and McElroy have a bad day. Pretty much anyone in that kind of area could, but yeah. Was there already discussion in the stream on penalties yesterday? I put it in my thoughts and comments, but just curious. I believe I saw the let me see. I believe I remember seeing your comment. I've just there's so many comments from the video I made yesterday. I just was like, bruh. Let's see. Oh, you're talking about that penalty. I know which one you're talking about. Talking about, bro, dead ball foul. I still disagree with that. My stance on the penalty, as I did talk about it earlier, is because you let the play happen in full and you didn't blow it dead, it means a play happened. So if you're going to call it a dead ball foul, it means a play happened afterwards. So when you go back and review it and then make it to where you can't decline it, you're essentially reviewing a play after another play's already happened, which you're not allowed to do. It's kind of what you're doing. Like, if it was super challenge, I would maybe get it. But in that scenario, I don't know. I think it's kind of a really Bush League way to win a game if you're Birmingham. Though, as I said, I'm more upset about the fumble because at least that I do understand in a technical sense was the correct call. The fumble, it was obviously out of bounds, and that was just a bad call. Can't even feed that bag of chips to Luka. 20-yard line up to the 25. Returns to the 30. 35. Big return up to the 45. Finally, a good special teams play by the Panthers. You love to see that. WNBA draft. I will not be watching. I just won't. I didn't even watch the Caitlin Clark draft. I'm going to watch this one. I did miss the Women's March Madness Championship game. I just completely forgot to put it on, and I was upset about it. I would have loved to see UConn just pwn South Carolina. That would have been hilarious to watch. I'm upset I didn't see that. Let's see. 1st and 10 for the Michigan Panthers with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the half. Again, Perkins isn't at quarterback because of the injury to Danny Etling. Defense, too many men in the field, 5-yard penalty, good for Michigan. First time I can say I'm excited for the WNBA draft tomorrow night. Lamau Page is going to be a wing. Good old Paige Buchers, bro. Had a great tournament. Beat South Carolina. Gino got another championship. I was happy about it. Men's tournament, I legit couldn't care less. The final two, I was like, man, I don't care. I think SC is in South Carolina is my guess. Ball is snapped. They fake a couple of handoff. Perkins drop back to throw. Throws it over the middle. It's going to be caught for up to about the 33-yard line. Solid play right there for them. Oh, since you joined late, Danny Etling did get the start today, and then he had a really great play where he was running out of the pocket and threw it, but then he got hurt on that same play and is being evaluated for a concussion right now. Yeah, I always call South Carolina USC because I think it's funny to say that because people are thinking it's, South California, but I'm like, no, South Carolina, and they just think it's funny. 1st and 10, ball is snapped. They hand it off, or they fake the handoff. Perkins throws to the right. That might be a catch right there. That looked like a potential really great catch by number 7, who, of course, had a bit of a miss earlier in the game, so that makes up for it right there. Really solid one. Thanks to the recap. Yeah, Etling starting was a really big shocker, but he made a really great play. He was running, of course he was, running on the run to his right. He made a great throw, kind of a little bit of an over-the-body throw, and it was a perfect one, a great catch. And then he got hurt on that play. Looks like they're going to be reviewing this catch. Yep, they're going to be reviewing this one. From first glance, it looked like he caught it because his leg was down on the ground, but let's see it on the closer replay. We saw one review earlier today that stood. Let's see if this one does as well. They're seeing if he has control when he hits the ground right now. Still looking at it. That's probably going to be overturned. It looked like it kind of bobbled when he hit the ground. That might be overturned right there. To me, that angle makes it look like that's an incomplete pass. Let me see. Are they really going to keep this one? Like, I hate the surviving the ground rule, but I get it. Okay? I mean, really? I mean, we all know I'm a Panthers fan here. I don't know, like, if that's not surviving the ground or, like, not surviving the ground, I don't know what is it. I mean, bro, that should have been incomplete. We got bailed out there. That should have been an incomplete pass. I gotta tweet that out. Ball is snapped. Perkins runs to the left. Finally. And he tries with a hurdle and he fails. But he gets the first down. Oh, my God. Should have been overturned. That. He did not survive the ground. I can't believe that he just did that. Bryce Perkins going for the hurdle, bro. Yeah, true. He thinks he's Cam Newton. True, bro. He really thought he was. First and goal now for the Michigan Panthers after that. Let's see what they do here. Bryce Newton. They fake the handoff. He runs to his right and touchdown. Dude, or did they listen to me? This is what I've been saying the last 2 weeks. I've been... designed runs for Perkins. TD Perkins. This is what I've been clamoring for weeks. I said this ever since week 1. I said they're not running the ball enough, and they're finally doing it. And I just misspelled that. So we're going to quickly copy and paste, delete the tweet, act like that never happened because of a minor misspell, and we're going to correct what I spelled wrong. They're doing a 1-point attempt. Again, Nolan's been doing this a lot. It's a bit questionable, but yeah. They fake the handoff, and he gets it again. He runs the ball again. This is what I've been asking for a long time. Bryce, we need you to stay safe, bro. This is, dude, thank God they're finally doing this. It's been so aggravating watching them not run the football in these scenarios. It's so great to finally see this, because this is what they've been refusing to do for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, we don't need Bryce to stay safe. We need Bryce to win us games. And this is what we want to see as Panthers fans, because this is what we watched him do last year to much success. Thank God he's finally doing it. Bro, finally. We're finally seeing them play like they're supposed to. Oh my gosh. It's so great finally seeing this. But yeah, I really have they always go for one. Like, I've talked about it. Like, I've done videos in the past where I've shown the, like, analytics. Yes, I know a lot of people hate analytics. But it's so much more likely to, like... the points you get for going for 2 is so much better than 1. Like, the expected points are, like, a pretty high amount. Like, I think it was, like, 60 to 50%. And, again, a 10% difference for a 1-point difference is, of course, a big deal. Again, score is 9-7 now. Massive for them. We've been wanting to see for a long time some designed runs for Perkins. Love to see it. Let's see what the Brahmas do here. Again, this game might hit the over. We might actually have a high-scoring game on our hands, folks. We got a touchdown in the first half. Passes thrown to the left, and it is caught for about a 7-yard gain by the Brahmas. An actual solid gain right there. This is why Coach Rowland needs more design runs. I mean, dude, this is what I've been saying the past 2 weeks. Finally, they're doing it, bro. Like, this is what was been... So I put in my 2 QB or not 2 QB section of my power rankings. I said Perkins 2 QB with an asterisk, and said the asterisk is if they start running the ball. If they do, he's the quarterback. And they're finally doing it. This is what I've been wanting to see for weeks. Thankfully, they're doing it now. Hand the ball off. Run to the left. It's a first down up to the 50-yard line where he gets tackled about midfield. There is a flag, though. So, Arlington BM look like the two worst teams here, and the game hasn't ended. Bruh, true. Face mask on the offense, big loss right there for that. Money Lady is my least favorite part of the broadcast. Because, like, the joke is so true. Stormy was on the sidelines. He gave more actual, like, was analyzing things more. Dolan just shows him and is like, oh, the line is 43.5 for the over-under. This guy has a touchdown prop for plus 400 and then just goes away. It's like, what are you analyzing? You're just there. Like, bruh. Quit yapping, bro. What a gif. Save image. I'm going to save that. NFL memes or UFL memes. There we go. 2 more notifications, bro. League James Larson now. Okay. Participation trophy head out, bro. Let's see what they can do here again. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the quarter right now. Or in the half, I should say. 3rd and 18 for the Brahmas thanks to the penalties and the past couple of bad plays. Let's see what they do here. Ball is snap, drop back to throw, looks over to his right, looks over to the middle of the field. He's going to run it. He's going to run for it, and he's going to be tackled for about an 8-yard gain. He kind of went down really weird for that. You think Perkins getting 113 passing yards? Because of Etling being out probably for the game, I would hope he does. If he doesn't, it's going to be wild. Like, if he doesn't get that, that would be really wild. I expect him to. I would be shocked if he doesn't. Let's see. Alright, well, I'm going to add another meme image to the meme tab because of the one I just stole from somebody on the Discord. So, yeah, we'll take that. Alright, chat. So, we've got another new meme image to add to the pile of league memes we have. So, that's a W. Make that big. There we go. There we go. So we got a new one for us. W Discord, bro. We love getting all the memes from that. Passing stats are so weird in the UFL. Clock rules lead to less drives, less passing yards. Yeah, I think that's a big thing about it is because of the fact of how the clocks work. Like, until you get to the last 2 minutes of either half, it just is so damn long. It's wild. Like, it goes so fast. It's insane. I mean, that's the whole point of making them 3-hour games. Is because, like, you want them to be quick games is the whole point of it, is a straight 3 hours, but yeah. The best meme of the season has to be the Curtis Johnson one. This one. This is the best meme of the season so far. That's the best one. Oh, well, he sent them on Twitter, but not the Dolan one. The Dolan one was from Discord, but the other ones, I mean, just DMs on Twitter. Perna, bro, showing his own video on Twitter, bro. A day later, okay. Yeah, the 3-hour games, I mean, the whole point of it is because you can kind of schedule fully around it. It's not like the NFL where these games are, like, supposed to be 3 hours that end up being, like, a lot more than 3 hours, right, sometimes. It's just always great. Osama bin Johnson. Okay. Yeah, Curtis Johnson, man, I can't believe he won, bro. I can't believe they won that game yesterday. That was such a great game, though. This game's looking pretty good, too, aside from the red zone just being, like, awful, aside from one drive for the Panthers so far, but yeah. With the 9-11, too. Dude, Curtis Johnson, man, what a legend. Like, you know, people can hate on him all they want, but like I've said, for the benefit of the league, it is kind of good to have somebody like him that everybody can joke about. It's like Kirby Wilson with the USFL back in 2022. Like, when you had the Pizzagate scandal, the Freedom, what was it, Freedom 56 or whatever? Like, it was just so memeable, and everybody loved making fun of him. That's the best part about having a coach like that, is that if everybody basically dislikes them or dislikes how they coach, it just leads to everybody having fun. Yeah, so far, man, the Panthers getting the ball back again. We're still got 2-minute warning, got a couple of timeouts left. We'll see what ends up happening here. Showing Mike Nolan on the sideline right now, interviewing him. And, of course, remember, Michigan does get the ball at half. So if they score here, they can double dip in points. It'd be huge for Michigan and bad for San Antonio. 10-9.5 would be huge for Michigan. Again, if they're finally going to use Perkins' legs, this is going to be a really interesting time. Again, 4th and 11 for the Browns. Going to have to punt this ball, obviously. 2-minute warning just happened, so Michigan does kind of get hurt there, losing a 2-minute warning. They are only down 2 timeouts, but remember, first downs under 2 minutes does stop the clock until the first down or until the chains are moved. I'm in the PFN Discord. There's like a UFL Discord, but the PFN one's better in my opinion. So yeah, I'm in the PFN. Like that's the one like Boogie's in, Jaron Horton's in. Like there's actual players in the PFN Discord. James Larson is in there. XFL Analyst is in there. So yeah. Because the punt went out of bounds, of course, you're going to get it back at about the 20-yard line because of the rule that a lot of people don't like, but a lot of people do like, and it was a very questionable one. I personally don't like it. I think that, if a punter does a great punt, like a corner kick, they should, get rewarded for it. Again, the Brahmas still scored 3 times today, which is, so scoring 3 times for them in the first half is pretty insane for the Brahmas. They don't do that this year, but yeah. Boogie Roberts, yes sir. About to say I'm 30 and an insider, okay. Yeah, bro, I'm a knower. Just go in there and say, I'm a knower of everything. So let's see what Michigan does here. Again, Bryce Perkins is still in at quarterback, obviously because Danny Etling got hurt, and because even if he was healthy, they'd still stick with Perkins right now. One man in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped, fake the handoff, quick throw to the left, little bit of a screen pass, makes a bit of a couple moves, and gets for a first down. Of course, going to stop the clock for a bit. Now, the one thing with how the clock stops and all that, you do not want to go too fast in these scenarios, because again, with 3 timeouts and 30 seconds left, you can go really far down the field in this league with how the rules are. So if you're Michigan, you kind of want to run this clock down a little bit. You want to kind of take at least like 10-ish seconds off every single play, maybe even like 15, but yeah. And NBA Sentinel, all of them. Okay. 1st and 10. Ball is snapped. Do hand it off this time. Runs out to his left. Makes a bit of a cut move. And gets about 3 yards on the play. I would not use a timeout here. I like what they're doing. Again, eat up a bit more clock. Do another play here. Solid decision. I like this from the Panthers right now. 2nd and 6, what they're going to call it. A live mic right now. Minute left in the half. And 2nd and 6, let's see what they do here. Motioning his running back to his left. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Looks over the middle of the field. Throws it quick, and it's going to be a first down. Just goes down and gets the first down. Really solid play for the Panthers right there. They're almost at midfield. They're about 4 yards away. CLC Mariner with a great catch right there. Just a solid play. Again, 43 seconds left. Clock is going to start in a couple seconds once they move the chains. Really solid drive so far for the Panthers. Again, now you're at a point where you got to go a bit faster because you want to try and get a touchdown. Of course, the field goal is great, but let's see what they do here. Perkins drops back to throw. He gets hit, but he's still on his feet. He's rolling out to his right, and he throws the ball away. That's what he needs to do. Don't take a bad sack. 2nd and 10. Clock is stopped with 29 seconds left. Still have 2 timeouts left. You need to get into at least field goal range. Again, you're still very far away from that. Like, not very far, but you're still about like 20 yards away. And again, so far, BT Potter, yes, the kick was blocked, but so far he's been the weakest kicker in the league, of course. Missed multiple kicks in week 1. Just had a kick blocked. So, you want it to be as close as possible for him. Let's see what they do here. 2nd and 10 at their own 48-yard line. Perkins is in shotgun, one man to his left. Motioning receiver from his left to his right. Ball is snapped. Drops back to throw. Throws over the middle. It is going to be incomplete. Would have been a nice catch, but is an incomplete pass. 25 seconds left at 3rd and 10. Not great here. Again, what do you do here? Do you go for the first down? Do you go for a few yard gain and maybe go for it in 4th down? Again, 25 seconds left. We'll see what happens here. Let's see. This could be big for the Panthers right here. This is a big 3rd down. 1 man in the backfield with Perkins. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks over to his left. He's going to throw it to his left for a first down, and it is going to be incomplete. That was almost a great throw, but it looks like that was incomplete. They're calling it a catch on the field. Wow. They're calling it a great one right there. Love pretending to be I'm an insider when I tell my dad about trades the day after it happened. I feel that. They're calling that a catch, first down. I would like to see a replay, but they're going to go pretty fast right here. They hand the ball off. It is going to run out to the left. He needs to get out of bounds, and he doesn't. They're going to have to call timeout here. 13 seconds left with 1 more timeout. You've got about time for one more play in the middle of the field, and that's pretty much what you got to do here. Just do one quick play over the middle, try to make it a closer field goal, and go from there. Love Kurt Menefee, Kurt Menefee, Joe Clack. Kurt Menefee is a really solid broadcasting team for the UFL. I think that's the best UFL broadcasting team. Joe Tessitore is great and all, but that's the best. Showing the replay, that was really close. That might have been good. One of his feet may have hit the out of bounds, but again, that was a really close one, all things considered, so still a solid one. Again, 2nd and 11 for the Panthers here, 13 seconds left. If you get a first down, you could do one more play before, you call timeout, kick a field goal. But all things considered, you really got one more play before you decide what you want to do here, so let's see. Final round coverage of the Masters on ESPN+. 2nd and 11, still 20 seconds left in the play clock. All the ESPN announcers sound drunk on the job. They're in shotgun again. This would be a very long field goal here, so they need to get in some sort of yardage here. Perkins is by himself in 5 wide. Ball is snapped, drops back throw, looks over to his right. He's going to run right up the middle. Great play design. Slides for about a 7-yard gain. They're calling a penalty. This might be unnecessary roughness. I would like to see a replay to see if that was too late of a hit. Because I've always stated this. If you're going for a tackle on a quarterback and you hit him in the head when they slide, if you did the tackle before hit him, I don't care if it hits their head. You slid into it, kind of, if you're already in the motion, but I want to see a replay of this. This is a 15-yard penalty if it stays. I do want to see a replay of this. I want to make sure this was legitimate, not just like we're going to throw it, because let's see the replay. I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't call it a penalty. I could see why you would. I personally don't think that is. I think that when he saw him slide, he tried to pull off to make his shoulder hit him in the chest. I don't think that was really a bad hit. But they're calling it a bad hit. 5 wide for the Panthers. Bryce Perkins is in shotgun. Ball is snapped. They're going to go for an end zone shot here. Yep, a shot to the left side, and it is incomplete. Time to kick a field goal. Let's see if this kick gets blocked. Oh my gosh, that would be wild. Danny Etling is officially out for the game. Rocky Lombardi is, of course, the emergency quarterback for the game. It looked to me that he did not, I don't know, I guess people on Discord are disagreeing with me. At least from what I saw, it did not look like he hit his head. They reviewed it. It is pass interference on the defense there is what they're looking at it, or they're challenging it. Let's see if the challenge is good. Looks like they're going to call this hand fighting probably, so it's going to be like a no call. Let's see. Yep, they're still looking at it. Yep, the challenge is unsuccessful. Michigan is now out of challenges for the rest of the game. Lose their timeout, which really doesn't matter because they're going to kick it anyway pretty much here. So, of course, no more challenges for the Michigan Panthers on the day, but if they kick this field goal, they will be up 10-9. Well, the big thing that matters is that they now lose a challenge for later in the game, and if they did get it, they probably would have gone for a touchdown again, but yeah. Let's see if they make this kick. Trying to ice the kicker right now, calling a timeout. First timeout used. Again, that's kind of a bit of a, obviously rookie head coach because, Wade Phillips is out. Going into the half with 2 timeouts does hurt, but is what it is. If Michigan makes this kick, because it should be a gimme, but we know how their kicking has been this year. if this kick is good, it will be a 10-9 lead Michigan over San Antonio, with the potential for a 20 to 20 plus game, which would be wild to see this season. So let's see. This could be a big one here. This is a very short field goal. This is just a 34-yard field goal. He should be a gimme, but let's see. Ball is snapped. Kick is up. He barely made that one. Dude, Michigan needs a new kicker. That was a borderline one right there. He was a couple yards away from missing that one. But they are up 10-9, and they get the ball after the half, or at the half. So there's a huge benefit for Michigan. Michigan could double up here if they score afterwards. Again, so far this has been a really solid game. One of the best games of the year so far for sure. 10-9 lead at the half for the Michigan Panthers. We got an equivalent score to Friday in just the first half. Wild, but yeah. Overall, looking at the stats so far of this game, I'm pulling them up on the side. San Antonio is 2 for 7 on third downs. They're 0-2 in the red zone, obviously. Michigan's 1 of 3, so they're not doing much better. As for stats, Mond is 8 of 15. Remember, he started like 7-9, so he's been pretty rough the last couple of drives. Perkins is 7 of 10 for 72 yards, and he has 22 yards rushing on 6 carries for a touchdown as well. Nate McCreary is the only guy who's a rush for the Panthers so far, and he hasn't been having a good game. McFarland had the 29-yard rush. Aside from that, he's been still okay. Lovett hasn't really done anything that much on the ground. Receiving-wise, Yossi Mariner has 5 receptions for the Panthers. Nobody else even has 2. Those are pretty much all the big stats right now in this game. And we are at the halftime. The power rankings video, man, it's just getting worse and worse and when I'm going to make it. I still have like no idea what the heck I'm going to do. It's going to be a tough one to call, but yeah. What a game. I mean, hey, if Michigan can score at the half, of course it'd be huge for them, but reffing seems to be a bit helpful on Michigan's side, but that's a little bit over there. What a game. Can't believe we're actually getting a somewhat high-scoring game. Man, it's 1:30. It's pretty late right there. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Let's go to here. Image. Now let me go back here. Let me go to this one over here. I don't remember where I'm even looking for right now. That's right here. Nope, not there. Or there. Bruh, I'm trying to find something and I honestly can't. This is so bad. Oh, that's right. I was using that for that. Okay, that's right. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go back over here then. I think Houston Roughnecks may be better than we think. It's 10-9, halftime score, and Friday was 9, so yeah. I don't know how good the Roughnecks I really would call them, honestly. It's just tough for me to be like, oh, this is a good team and all that. It just is to me. I don't know. It's just hard for me to view it like that. Okay, let's put that there. Mock drafts. Okay. Well, it is like 1:30. I'm going to get lunch real quick, so let me put in... Okay, I just spelled back wrong. I just realized that, bro. Okay, let me do that. Okay, I'll be back in a second. I'm going to go get lunch real quick. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, chat, I'm back. I said by 1:30 or 1:35. This was definitely a lot faster than 1:35. I'll take it. Yeah, Kyron Lacey, I believe, I don't know if it's fully confirmed, I believe it said that he may have, like, took his own life, which is just awful to hear, especially because he was a legit NFL draft prospect, and it's, like, one of those things that just, like, kind of came out of, like, nowhere. But I did see about that earlier today. Okay, I don't have, like, any room on here. Okay, I'm trying to not make a mess in here, but yeah. I have a Hot Pocket, which I've never had before, and then, like, some chips, so, hey. So far, definitely been one of the best games of the season for sure. YouTube complaining about my audio bitrate being 0. Yeah, I muted my mic. Of course it's 0. Like, what they think I was going to have. Pretty entertaining first half. Yeah, James Larson saying he was not a fan of the Super Challenge. I do agree. It was definitely a weak Super Challenge, that's for sure. Sup, Moltan, just got back from the little lunch break of me making lunch. Again, this game has been one of the best games of the year so far. I mean, it's only been the first half, but so far it's been a very solid game, all things considered. Some actual points being scored, you know. A touchdown in the first half. We don't really see a lot of those this year. It's been pretty solid. Of course, third quarter is about to start. Then, of course, the Masters, of course, the big names are starting to tee off relatively soon. Let me see exactly when. Yeah, it should be soon. Morikawa just teed off, so yeah, your big names are starting to tee off relatively soon. Of course, McIlroy in search of his first green jacket, trying to get the career Grand Slam. The Roughnecks finally won. I can't believe it. They actually got a W. It's wild to see. I hope the DC St. Louis game lives up to the hype. I really do. Only thing I worry about is how Manny's going to play against an actual defense, because this is the first real defense he's played all year. Because, like, the first week of the season, Roughnecks' defense is not what they are now. Their defense is improved. It's still not a great unit, in my opinion, but it is better than it was. But we'll see. You know, hopefully he plays well, because if he continues to play well against this defense, it's going to make him look really good, make a lot of people who've been defending him, like me, look good. But if not, yikes. Yeah, you do got Max Duggan, that's for sure. 4.5 point spread right now. Over-under is the exact same. You very rarely see it be the exact same. Always goes down, but yeah. 1 hour until the big two tee off at 2:35. There we go, over there. I believe this is like chicken, bacon ranch. This is a solid one. Not as good as 4 cheese. Basic one, I know. Call me basic, but yeah. Let's see, I forgot I got a couple comments on my last video. I got a couple Battlehawks comments. To be fair, they got screwed. Birmingham and St. Louis has only played SA and Houston. The timeout fail, that was hilarious. Aaron Dolan. Okay, I gotta put the image up. Didn't mean to click that 3 times. Max Duggan that one year, man, that was cinema, bro. Came on, got the team to the Natty, and then somehow his stock fell because he didn't play well in the national championship. Like, bro, nobody thought they would even make it there. The fact they got that upset against Michigan was insane. But of course, everybody always forgets about the upset. They just remember him getting his ass handed to him by Georgia. No new tweets, bro. Come on. Again, Panthers do get the ball at the half, so right now they are getting the ball. They just scored a field goal to end the drive last time. They are up 10-9. Touchdown here would be huge for them. Though the big issue is they always just go 1 for 1 every time, so yeah. Kick is up. Return at the 5, up to the 10, up to the 15, up to the 20, gets to the 25. The 30, still on his feet, up to the 35, still on his feet, gets out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. A big return for the Panthers. That's something we haven't seen a lot of from the Panthers, is a good return game. Great return for them right there. Again, Danny Etling was the starting quarterback for this game, but ended up getting a concussion or evaluated for one. He is out for the rest of the game. So Rocky Lombardi is the emergency QB, and Perkins is going to be playing, barring an injury or something, the rest of this game. And so far, they have been actually running the football with Perkins, something they have not been doing this year. Let's help their offense. 1st and 10. Perkins is in shotgun, one man to his right. Ball is snapped. Handed off. About a 6.5, maybe a 7-yard gain on the play. Really solid first down play. Already about 3 yards away from the 50-yard line. Playoff field is set for the NBA. That is probably going to be my community members video for this month. Is going to be my NBA and NHL playoff predictions for sure. Second and 3 for the Michigan Panthers. Perkins is in shotgun. No receivers to his left. All of them are to his right. Ball is snapped. They hand it off in the middle, and it's going to be about a 1, maybe 2-yard gain, depending on exactly where they give him forward progress. This is arguably 4-down territory as long as they don't lose any yardage here. Yeah, they're not necessarily in no man's land, but they're pretty close to being in legit no man's land, where it's very difficult to just actually, punt the ball and feel good about it. Now, they've been running the ball pretty much most of these plays. I would not be shocked with a play action pass here or a read option play that Perkins keeps. Be looking for one of those right here. One receiver far to the right, all the rest to his left. Running back directly behind him in shotgun. Ball is snapped. They do hand it off. He runs out to his left. He stiff arms a man, and he's able to get a good stiff arm and get the first down. That was a great stiff arm. Was able to get just enough for the first down. I'm back. I had to play my football game. Yeah, I'm very happy. Man, I was talking about it earlier. I even tweeted out that joke that Mike Nolan watched my videos. It's so great finally seeing Perkins run the football. This is what the offense has been missing the past 2 weeks, even when they had that solid performance against Memphis. They've been missing that ground game by Perkins. It's great seeing that. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Perkins drops back to throw. There was a deep pass to the right. Incomplete. A bit too far. A little bit shorter would have been a nice catch for a huge game, but still solid play, all things considered. Again, remember, directly after this game on ABC and ESPN Plus, you will have the Battlehawks Defenders game, which it was stated that I'm pretty sure this game is going to announce where the championship game is, and it is most likely going to be back in St. Louis. So, yeah. Early on in the game, both teams could not score in the red zone. But once the Panthers started using Bryce Perkins' legs, he was able to actually do some work and pull off a really solid performance and get a touchdown. Pass is thrown to the left. It is complete. Going to be about a 6-yard gain for the Panthers. That's kind of the best way to put it so far in terms of this game. The Brahmas, their red zone game has also been really bad so far. Biggest issue is third down inefficiency. The Brahmas are, or at least they were, about like 2 of 7 on third down. It was really pitiful, and that's been the biggest thing that's hurt them all game so far. Is that. Ball is snapped, drop back to throw, throws it to the left, going to be incomplete. This is a very weird area to be in. This is not necessarily an easy first down along a super long field goal if you kick it here. Punting it is going to hurt. Very interesting to see what they end up doing here. And also, Mike Nolan did use his challenge. It was a very weird challenge to call. It really wouldn't have even worked if it worked, it really wouldn't have done anything either. And it didn't even work, so they, lost a timeout, lost a challenge for the rest of the game. They are going to be going for it here on 4th and 4. Bold decision. Let's see if they make it. In shotgun, one man to his left, drop back to throw, looks to his right, throws it. It's going to be caught for a first down. A big play right there. It's going to be first down for the Panthers. They are now in legit field goal range, even though B.T. Potter has, of course, gotten the one field goal blocked. Devin Ross, of course, had the bad muffed punt, having to make up for it. That's a really solid way to make up for it this week. Great play design. Just did a quick pass right to him, get the first down. That's all you need. You don't need to go for a deep shot. Just get a first down. Solid play right there. Yeah, when you're in that 40 to 50 yard line in the opposing territory, it's just a really weird one to do. Bit of motion in front of Perkins, fakes a couple of handoffs, and he holds onto the ball. Rolling, he throws it over the middle, caught for a wide open receiver. Gets up to the 15-yard line. Massive play right there. There is a flag. Will be interesting to see what this flag is. Prediction of Manny Wilkins' stats. I wouldn't be shocked if he has about like 50 yards rushing. I think he's going to have a bit less than he usually does. Penalty on the offense. Passing-wise, probably like 150, my guess. Going to have like a little over 200 total yards. DC defense is going to have a really good performance. I think it's what's going to really happen. Big penalty on the Panthers right there, losing some yardage. Ineligible downfield. That's one of those penalties you just hate seeing. Had a huge gain, and you lose it. 1st and 15 for the Panthers. They are, of course, back down to the 36-yard line because of the penalty. Ball is snapped. Fakes the handoff. Looks to his left. Throws it over the middle. Going to be a high pass, but it is just good enough to be caught. That is what you would call a borderline hospital pass right there. But he is able to make the catch and get a first down. Nice play by 17 right there. Yeah, definitely a hospital pass right there. You hate to see those kind of passes, but hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get first down. 1st and 10. Again, this drive has been taking a lot of time off the clock right now. Almost a full 6-minute drive so far. Love to see that. Let's see if they can put a touchdown here. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Perkins is going to run for it. Running to his right, rolling. He's going to get about 4 yards. Again, another read option play. You love to see that. Some actual designed runs for Perkins, what the offense has been missing. Love to see them back. Now, what are your overall thoughts on the rumor that it is going to be announced today that it's going to be the Battlehawks hosting the championship again? I personally am just not a fan of having to go back to St. Louis. I don't think St. Louis is like a ton to do. I would have liked the championship to go somewhere else, but I do like that it's in a dome, which is why I do get it. And if the Battlehawks do make the championship, it's going to be a great atmosphere. 2nd and 6 for the Panthers. Ball is snapped, drop back to throw, looks to his right, looks over to his left, throws it over the middle. It's going to be caught. Again, another almost hospital pass right there over the middle of the field. He got hit in the head. He is currently down, holding his head. Might even be, it is called a catch, but he is still down. Of course, there's a really bad pass right there. That is another hospital pass. Hate to see that. He's getting brought up. It looks like he's okay. Just kind of got, got the wind knocked out of him right there. Not what you want to see. Trying to stay on the field right now. Turner, man, that's a couple of really tough hits he's had to take back to back. Appeared in 44 NFL games. Again, first and goal. Showing the replay right now. Just got hit right as soon as he got that ball. Ooh. That was a helmet-to-helmet hit. First and goal at the 2-yard line. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Perkins runs up the middle. Touchdown Bryce Perkins. Another rushing touchdown for Perkins. Again, the designed quarterback runs. That's what the offense was missing. That's what they have now with this design run. Makes everything more dangerous for the Panthers offense. Love to see them finally doing this. This is what we've been missing. Great play by the Panthers right there. The Rams offense 2022. I mean, so far in spring football, man, he's been great. It's just a matter of them running the football with him. When he runs, he is one of the best 3 quarterbacks in the league. When he isn't running, he's still good, but not nearly as dynamic of a player because he's just so good on the ground. Shotgun on the 1-point conversion. Ball is snapped. They hand it off this time, and it is going to be complete. So the score is now 17-9. I'm pretty sure we're borderline near what my score prediction for the entire game was. Let's see. Yeah, I predicted this game would be 17-12. If San Antonio kicks a field goal and then that's the final score, would get it right. I doubt that's going to happen, but that would be cool to see. Fourth down conversion, just tweeting it out. Love how delayed those tweets are. Gotta love him. Again, really, really solid drive for the Panthers. They took up a lot of clock on that drive. Like, a lot. Or they and so, you know, now you're making it harder for San Antonio. Love to see it. Of course, San Antonio, for those of you who are just joining recently, Wade Phillips is not coaching in this game. He is out with an illness. So, not only do you have a new OC, you know, having to call plays, but your head coach isn't there. So that also has been hurting the Brahmas. Though the offense has honestly looked a lot better than it has the previous 2 weeks, all things considered. Love to say it. Kellen saying ready, ready, go, so powerful, but you had to do anything on offense. True. It's wild. Man, my computer's lagging, bro. My mouse is going so slow. Let's see. What did... Jaron Horton complaining about how they just launched 2 plays in the head and didn't get penalized for it. Good old Jaron Horton on Twitter. Man, gotta love Jaron Horton complaining on Twitter, bro. I know there was like the Renegade Stallions game, he was literally saying that those DPIs were DPIs. When you have a defensive coach saying that, you know it's true. While we are still in commercial break, Masters coverage right now. Again, getting close to some of these big guys really teeing off. Morikawa is shooting -1 across 2 holes so far. He's at -4. Again, far back from the league. But if McIlroy and DeChambeau don't have good days, this is a wide open tournament. Of course, people are wondering if Scotty's going to have one of those insane days where he shoots like a 62 or something, because like it would just be so Scotty Scheffler of him to do it. Would be insane, but who knows? I'm still a Showboats fan. What are we without loyalty? I'm rooting for the Panthers today. I would say if you're a Showboats fan, I would root for the Brahmas, because the Panthers winning this game makes it very hard for Memphis to actually make it to the playoffs. Because Michigan winning this, not only are they up 2-1 versus 0-3, but you also have a game where, you know, the Panthers beat the Showboats, so it would be really hard for that. So I would be, if you were a Showboats fan, I would be rooting for the Brahmas, because just a Panthers win makes it really difficult for Memphis to make the playoffs. Because starting out 0-3 is already hard enough, but having a 2-1 team that's beaten you already in a 10-game season through 3 weeks, pretty tough. Again, this is still a 1-score game. Of course, the UFL 9 points is a 1-score game. But in this case, you need a touchdown, 2-point conversion because of the fact that Michigan always does the 1-point conversions. So, still a 1-score game. Kickers return to the 25, to the 30. 35, still on his feet, rolling out to his left, but he does get tackled at the 35-yard line. That's the kind of return coverage right there that a week ago against Birmingham, he would have bounced to the sideline and got another 10 yards out. So, still not insanely great return coverage, but much better than it was last week, which you do love to see if you're a Michigan fan. So, hopefully they can keep that up right there. And, of course, those joining recently, Cam Carter is inactive for this game. Of course, the guy that they traded Marcus Sims for. So, yeah. Even though Chase Garbers would have 1.1 yards per attempt. Hey, Chase Garbers ruined his career with that championship game performance, that's for sure. Kellen Mond rolling out, hands the ball off. It's going to be about a 6-7 yard gain. Solid first down play for the Brahmas. That championship game performance where he had not one but like 2 awful slides really just was so bad because he never got that NFL opportunity everybody said he had. Because of that, you know damn well these teams don't want to bring him back because of it. Bro really screwed himself over in that championship game performance. But yeah, Mon has just not been great so far. But when your backups are like who they are, yikes. Yeah, it would be nice to see Mon do something, but so far this game he just hasn't been all that great. He hasn't been as bad as Anthony Brown, obviously, but that's what it's been all season. Hands off the ball to McFarland. McFarland gets a first down. Really solid play by McFarland right there. Going to be first down at the Brahmas 48-ish yard line, 2 yards away from midfield. Solid drive so far through a couple of plays. Still have not seen any other updates about the championship game location or the, what's the other part, or the Wade Phillips thing, so it's kind of what it is so far. 1st and 10, they hand it off again, and it's going to be maybe back to the line of scrimmage. They might even call it half a yard loss. Current line is, wow, they actually have to see the over-under move up. Can't believe that. Tell EJ to pack it up and go to the Brahmas, bro. That would be an upgrade over Kelman, though. Yeah, it is not looking good for the Showboats right now. That's for sure. Michigan winning this game somewhat convincingly as well really hurts when you consider how many guys they're missing and all that. Not what you want to see. I'll call him later today, lol. Ball snapped, run up the middle, going to be about an 8-yard gain. Solid one. Well, if you believe UFL Daily's report, dude, that was great. Saying that he got arrested for some unknown... Dude, UFL Daily on Twitter, gotta love it. Gotta love having a parody account for the UFL. And the fact that some people believe it's true is even better. Third and 2 for the Brahmas. Let's see what they do here. They are in no man's land. This is 4-down territory, in my opinion. Ball snapped, fake the handoff. Mond is going to run for it. Runs up the middle. He gets the first down and then some. Gets to about the 36, 37-yard line again. In that scenario, you had to run and keep going. Solid for them. Again, if you're a Showboats fan, this is what you want to see right here. Is the Brahmas actually doing something on offense. That was a good play by Mond. Did a little cut move. Saw he had wide open field if he just ran straight. And he just ran right through it. First and 10 for the San Antonio Brahmas now at the 38-yard line in Michigan territory. Ball is snapped, hands it off, and it's going to be stopped just shy of the line of scrimmage. Should be about a half yard to a yard loss right there. About 4 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third quarter right now. Of course, the big Battlehawks Defenders game starts at 3 o'clock directly after this one on the exact same channels this game is on. Second and 11 for the Brahmas. Mond is in shotgun. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw. Throws quick to his right. It's going to be caught for about a 4 or 5 yard gain. Solid play, get some of those yardage back that you lost the 1 yard and then you got a few more yards. Should be about 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 right here. In this scenario, you don't need to score a touchdown. Of course, you're still in the third quarter. A field goal is really all you need. Just get some points, get this game closer. So you don't have to go for, the touchdown right here. but you would want to get it. 3rd and 7. Let's see what they do here. In shotgun. 3 receivers to his left. Ball is snapped. Drops back to throw. Looks to his left. Gonna throw to his left. For a first down. Great pass. Great catch. First down, San Antonio. What you want to see if you're a Brahmas fan or a Showboats fan right there. Solid first down play. Again, Mon is looking a lot better this week in the last couple weeks. Is looking really bad for A.J. Smith as well. But best offensive performance on the season so far is today for the Brahmas. That's for sure. First and 10 for the Brahmas once again. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Mon is going to run for it. And he gets about 7 yards on the first down rush. Really solid play for them right there. Again, a lot right there. As bad as Mon is, he doesn't turn the ball over as much. He and Anthony Brown. Like, are their quarterbacks better than him in this league? Yes. But is he, like, awful? No. I mean, right now, this is a really solid one right here. Second and 4 for the Brahmas right here. They are just about to reach the 20-yard line. They're right behind it. No, I'm eating Cheetos right now. It's just, orange. They're like the hot and spicy ones. Got like 3 left and I'm done. Second and 4 for the Brahmas. Need to get to the 16-yard line. Ball is snapped. They hand the ball off, and they're going to get a first down on the rush. They're going to be about the 14, maybe even called the 13-yard line. First and 10 for the Brahmas. Again, a touchdown on a 2-point conversion makes this a tie game. And, of course, both teams have 3 timeouts left, but the Panthers are out of challenges because they used their 1 challenge and failed it into half. So, big break for San Antonio in that regard. Mon drops back throw, looks to his left. He's going to throw for a bit of an end zone shot. It is caught by Anthony McFarland for the touchdown. Score is 17-15. Again, I would go for 2 here for obvious reasons. Make this a tie game. Big play for Anthony McFarland Jr., 15-yard receiving touchdown. Again, this Brahmas offense is looking a lot better without A.J. Smith being there, which, man, if you're A.J. Smith, oof. Maybe you shouldn't have left this job. Maybe you shouldn't have resigned, because now you're looking a lot worse. You're the only YouTuber that actually knows the UFL and NFL. Hey, it's just a lot of people, right? Like the announcers, too. They're like, they cover the league, cover it by calling games, but it's like you don't really fully know. Got to follow all the guys. Got to actually watch the games and all that. I take pride in it. The NFL, though, just kind of know it by having to know it. Watch a lot of games, but it's like I always joke about, right? Best time to nap across the entire year, Sundays at 3 p.m. every week during NFL Sunday. Sleep from like 3 to 5 every week. 5-yard penalty on the Brahmas, so this 2-point attempt will be at the 10-yard line. Brahmas finally scored more than 9. You love to see that. Again, we talked about it as a joke. Both the Roughnecks and Brahmas had failed to put up 10 points. Both teams did. Well, Houston, they did. Both teams were able to put up double-digit points this week. That's what you love to see. Offense is getting better. Though teams you thought their offense was going to be good, like the Renegades and Stallions, may have gotten worse. But I digress. 2-point attempt from the 10-yard line after the penalty. Mon is in the backfield, 1 man to his right, 2 receivers on both his left and right, drops back throw, looks to his right, looking over the middle, he's rolling out. He tried to throw a pass to McFarland, who was not turned around, incomplete. 17-15 is still the score with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Again, so far this is looking like another contender for game of the year this week, aside from that awful week, or that awful Friday Night Football game. It's looking like a pretty good week, all things considered, in terms of games. "30 minutes until the big 2 square off at the Masters." Jordan, so true. Let's go over here. Look at the Masters so far. Morikawa just got another birdie through 3 holes. He got 2 birdies. He's at -5. He is tied 6th right now. Huge for him. Xander and Echeverria are both even after 1. Homa's even after 2. Again, you got to at least end the day at like -8 if you really want to be a competitor. And even then, you have to rely on a lot of guys not playing that well. Morikawa needs to keep this up. Again, if you shoot like a 62 today, or, like a 63, something like that, you're going to be in there. As long as, the other two don't, but yeah. The Brahmas, the Roughnecks, score 6 and 9. Okay. Another notification. Okay. Destroying. I want to see what the comments are on this post. The jaw grenade throw. Okay. Lucky, bro. Everybody's complaining about it. That's wild. Go back over here. Content. Man, that video did a lot better than I thought it was going to do. I'm not going to lie. Back over here. Move a couple of these things over here. There we go. God, I love having like 5 different tabs open. Like by tabs, I mean windows, I should say. I've got way more than 5 tabs open. But yeah. Again, 17-15, actually high-scoring game, all things considered. You gotta love it. 7 new posts again. Spring football talking about Tawa ended up how he was just playing golf like a week ago. Now he's back scoring touchdowns or scoring points, I should say. Gotta love it. Man, I hope this Defenders Battlehawks game is good, and I hope we get a shock and they announce the championship game is like somewhere else. But it's probably gonna be St. Louis again, man. I gotta book a hotel in St. Louis, go there again. Wish it was somewhere else. I hope it's not St. Louis, but it's probably gonna be. Peyton Party, the offensive coordinator, of course, no Wade Phillips for the day. Emphasizing the run game. They've been doing that today, that's for sure. Saying he's got an excellent group of players that he's being biased. At least he's saying that, not just saying that they have the best offense in the league like a certain somebody did last week without saying any bias. Good old Michigan, like the only USFL team that actually puts people on both sides of the stands, or both sides of the, stadium, which I think is hilarious but true. Because I know like Houston kinda, but they don't really, borderline USFL team. The Brahmas. Man, it's good to see them doing well, but again, that first home game, it sucks that they're going to be seeing a team that's like at best 2-2, but I think at this moment we got to see what they do here. Let's see what the Panthers do on this drive again. This is only the second drive of the half for the Panthers. It returns up to the 15, returns up to the 20, returns up to the 25, keeps going, gets tackled at about the 31-yard line. Solid overall return, again, not an insane one, but we take those. Friday's GM was bad. Our game was bad. I think you're right. Worse than a blowout. Yeah, I mean, you just had poor football being played. You had the whole ref ball thing going on, which was really bad. When you're questioning ref ball in a UFL game, that's when you know it's bad. It was just rough. I want to make people mad, so Roughnecks are the best team in the UFL. And they got a W. I don't know if anyone of us thought they were going to do it, but yeah. I mean, the XFL lost a lot of money back in 2020, but it is mainly about getting those juicy TV ratings, but we'll see. Hopefully they rebound this week. 1st and 10 for the Michigan Panthers. Ball is snapped by Perkins. Fakes a handoff, rolls out to his right. He's still rolling. He throws ball away, a run for it, and he's going to just throw it for a first down catch. Great throw by Perkins. Very similar to the Danny Etling play before he got hurt. Catch by Nakula, though there is a flag on the play. This could be holding on the defense or on the offense. Let's see. Horse collar tackle on the defense. Massive penalty on them. Huge gain for the Panthers right there. Showing the replay, this is on Perkins, and yeah, that was right to the back. If you tackle it right here, that's a horse collar tackle, so big penalty for the Panthers, or big break for the Panthers right there. Gaining some extra yards on there. First and 10, let's see what they do here. Perkins is in shotgun, one man directly behind him in the backfield. Two receivers out to his left. Fake, hands the ball off. Makes a couple of moves. He's still on his feet. Up to the 40, up to the 35, up to the 30, up to the 25, the 20, the 15. He's gone for a touchdown. Michigan Panthers score a touchdown. Huge touchdown for the Panthers right there. Brilliant running play, dude. Incredible. Jaden Sheridan with a massive 43-yard rush touchdown. Made a couple of big moves. Touchdown Panthers, 23-15 is the score. We actually are having a legit high-scoring game. We might hit 40 in a game. I can't believe it. Yeah, this game is definitely one of the best of the season so far. In fact, this might be the best of the season so far. Incredible play right there. Just got a nice rushing touchdown. Love to see that. And I'm not going to love to see him go for one again. But this is a great one right there. Great play right there. Looks like they are going to go for one again. I would have loved to see him go for two. Of course, if you go for... The issue here is that if you make this one-point conversion, it's a one-score game. You go for two and you make it, it's a two-score game because it's now a 10-point game. So, especially here, really don't like this. They're going for the 1 point here. But we'll see. As long as they get it, that's all that matters. But we'll see. Perkins is motioning a receiver to his right. Ball is snapped. They hand it off in the middle again. It's going to be stopped short. So the score is 23-15 Michigan over San Antonio. It is still an 8-point game, still a one-score game with 1:18 left in the third quarter. This has so far been probably the best game of the season. This has been a really solid one right now. Very interesting to see what the Brahmas do to answer this because, of course, the Brahmas do need to score at least something on this next drive. We'll see. Golden State Clippers, man, the West NBA playoffs. What a close race a lot of that is. Interviewing Jaden on the sideline right now. 3 rushes for 52 yards, 17-yard average. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. James Baker said, I think there was a false start, bruh. Can they score 60? Dude, if we get a 60-point game today, that'd be insane. Let's see what happens now. The Brahmas, of course, the Brahmas need to answer to make this a legit, super close game. And Michigan's offense, again, with Perkins actually running the ball, has made so much more for a not dynamic one. I leave for one game and we have back-to-back competitive games. Yeah, isn't it great? Return is up to the 25. Tackling. All it took was making a video talking about how we had the worst game of the year. And then it was like, yeah, you know, maybe we should actually have good games. And this has been a good one. Yesterday was great. This was a great one, too. Let's see if the Brahmas can answer here. Need to score something here. Need to take up some time. Let's see. Braylon speaks out. I hate to see that IR. Paxton. That would be disrespectful to Paxton Lynch. At least Paxton Lynch had that one great game in Week 10 for the Panthers. Anthony Brown has so far just had one drive. Rush up the middle is for about a... Looks like it's going to be about a 4-yard gain. Was able to make something out of absolutely nothing. So they got a few yards there. Going to be second and about 6, second and 7 right here. So let's see, 2nd and 6, what they're going to call here. Going to have about 2, maybe 3 plays before the end of the quarter. Mond is in shotgun, one man to his right. All of his receivers are lined up to the right side, aside from his tight end who's on the left. Motions his running back to his left. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks over to his middle of the field, looks to throw to Lovett. Nope, it is incomplete. If the Panthers had seen that earlier, that would have been an interception. That was one you can even debate was intentional grounding right there. 3rd and 6 for the San Antonio Brahmas. You need to get a first down here. Michigan's offense has been clicking on all cylinders. You do not want to give them the ball back because then they could just score and end this game. If they score another touchdown, the game would essentially be over at that point. Granted, we've seen San Antonio make an impossible comeback before last year. Do not want to let that happen again, though. 23-15, 5 seconds left. They need to snap it or they go to the end of the quarter. Yep, going to the end of the quarter. Going to the 4th quarter now. 23-15 Michigan over San Antonio. 3rd and 6 for the San Antonio Brahmas. Need a first down. Do not want to give Michigan the ball back. So, yeah. What a game so far. Again, updated stats. Kellen Mond is still not having an incredible game, though he is having a solid one. 12 of 20 for 114 is okay. 1 TD, 0 interceptions. Bryce Perkins is 12 of 17 for 137. 0 touchdowns and interceptions, but he on the ground does have 2 touchdowns with 28 yards on 8 carries. Josie Mariner still is the best leading receiver on the Panthers. Jacob Harris is the leading receiver for the Brahmas right now, and followed by Anthony McFarland. As for the ground game, still nothing to write home about outside of the big couple of plays that McFarland has had, but that's about it so far. As for the Masters, updating that, Morikawa still tied 7th with a couple of birdies. Justin Rose did get a birdie on the first hole, trying to climb back on the leaderboard. Im is at -5 as well. Johnson hit a +1, so he's down to -3. Again, all the big names are starting to tee off now. Justin Rose, of course, man, he had a great first day, but after that, he's just kind of been riding along that almost directly even par with a couple of bogeys, so he hasn't been having an insane weekend, just had a really good first day. So, yeah. Ford Field's rocking right now. Dude, Ford Field's loving this right now. Gotta love seeing this game. This is the kind of game you want to see if you're in, the stadium right now. Love to see it. Hopefully Michigan keep this up. Hopefully this game ends up being a close one. San Antonio doesn't need to get a first down, or else this game is going to be a less close one. So hopefully we see something here soon. Bunch of updates, bro. Love getting update after update on Twitter. Spring Kitties go meow. Hopefully the attendance numbers are a solid one. Again, it sucks that they didn't win their first home game, but winning this one is definitely a really good one. Again, 2-1 in the USFL this season is a really great start. When you have Houston that's 1-2, and it's very debatable how the hell are they 1-2 in a sense of how did they win a game. But yeah. 5 new posts. Don't look at the screen. Blah blah. Let's go to Twitter. I wonder what's trending. It's probably gonna be mostly just. Okay, mostly just golf. Kyron Lacey, sadly, awful what happened, but of course that's what's trending first right now. Roy's up there despite not even teeing off yet. Mbappe, what an awful challenge he had earlier today. Logan Webb, wonder why he's trending. Let's find out. Oh, he gave up a hit to a substitute teacher, bruh. Two-point deciding games this week. Could we get another? We could. I mean, it's definitely possible we get another one right there. Let's see what happens here at the Brahmas. So far, they've been pretty even rushes for passes. 3rd and 6. This is a massive third down right here. The Panthers have been able to eat up a lot of clock in the couple of drives they've had last, so you do not want to give them the ball back. Bit of motion from right to left for Mon. Drops back to throw. Looks over to his left. He's going to throw for a first down, and it gets caught. And it depends where they give him forward progress. At worst case scenario, they're 1 yard shy of a first down. Best case scenario, they get a first down, but they're going to spot that about a yard short. Not what you want to see if you're the Brahmas right there. This is debatably 4-down territory. You need to put at least something up on the board, so yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening. Let's see, more updates on Twitter. I love getting something that was sent to me like an hour ago on my phone now. 1st and 10 now for the Brahmas. Gotta love it. They did move the chains late, but they did give it to him. So, John Lovett run gets about 2.5 yards. They would have gotten on that play right there, so yeah. Attendance is up. Nice. The attendance went up again. Attendance last week was 10,000. This time it's 11,000. Massive improvement. Love to see it. Run is up to the left by Mon. Gets about a first down rush right there. Really solid one. Really solid attendance right now. 11K. Gotta love to see that. Massive for the Panthers. Love to see it. First down play for the Brahmas is going to be tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Going to be a big second down play for them here. Second and 8. Second and 8 for the Brahmas here. Mond is in shotgun, one man to his right in the backfield with him. Two receivers to his left, two to his right. Ball is snapped, handed off, runs to the left. Love it, gets a few yards, but he gets tackled. It's going to be about a 3-4 yard gain right there. Time to see if they can get this one. This could be a big play right here again. Third down. This is still debatable 4-down territory depending on how many yards you get here. If you get like 3-4 yards, you might go for it. If not, you're just going to probably hit the field goal. You know, take that. Try and hopefully stop the Panthers' offense, we'll see. Third down first and foremost. Mond is in shotgun with one man to his left in the backfield with him. 3rd and 4. Ball is snapped. Throws it immediately to his left. Is almost intercepted. That could have been a pick six. Another dropped potential pick six by the defense. You hate to see it. First good passing in this W for sure. This is definitely a really good one. Even though as soon as you said that he basically did throw an interception that just got dropped. But man, if he had caught that, that would have been a pick six right there. Huge break for San Antonio. That's a massive break for him. They're going for it in 4th down. Throw it to the right immediately. It's caught for a first down. He somehow managed to hold onto that ball. Incredible catch right there. That was a wild one. Crowd would have been electric there, damn. I mean, 11K is the announced attendance number. 1,000 improvement from last week. Love to see it. Ball snap, drops back to throw. Mond is rolling out to his right. There's a flag. Could be offensive, could be defense. He gets back to the line of scrimmage for about a 0-yard gain. Looks like it's going to be a defensive penalty. Defensive hands to the face. Is here to see Mond. Garrett Marino with the penalty. Not what you want to see. Again, this is a big drive for the Brahmas. They need to score something here. Touchdown is, of course, ideal, but you just need to at least get a field goal. Michigan's been able to have a lot of long drives again. We still got 10.5 minutes right here. Very disappointed at E.J. Perry and Brown. I mean, E.J. Perry had the 2 interceptions, but aside from that, he actually played okay. Just he kind of, once he got the first one, he just got in his own head. Anthony Brown, though, Anthony Brown bro should be a 3rd stringer. Shouldn't even be in the league, but he should be a 3rd stringer. Ball is snapped, handed off, or a little bit of a pitch kind of to the left. It's going to be about a 6-yard gain for the Brahmas right there. Greg Ward with a decent run right there. Not really a run, but you know what I mean. Second and 6 for the San Antonio Brahmas. Little under 10 minutes left in the game. In shotgun, one man to his left in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped. And there is a flag. This is probably going to be false start on the San Antonio Brahmas, it looks like. Yep. 5-yard penalty on the San Antonio Brahmas. Not what you want to see. And it was by Greg Ward. Literally the guy that just made a catch. Hate to see that. Basically makes the last play like, I hate to see it. Again, 9.5 minutes left in the game. Still down 8 points. Touchdown and 2-point conversion. Let's see what they do here. So that's 2nd and 11 now. They're resetting the clock right now. That's what they're doing right now. Adding some time, adding about 10 seconds to the clock right now. And the Brahmas have had 10 penalties this game for 88 yards. Michigan's only had 3. Discipline is a huge deal. It's a lot like special teams, right? It helps you win or lose games. So far, it's hurting the Brahmas a lot. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw. Throws it, and it is immediately batted down. Could have been an interception, but he did correctly just go for the batted down right there. Great overall play with the Michigan defense so far. Third and 11 now for the Brahmas. Let's see if they can pull it off here. Appeared in 11 games last season. They only played 11 games last season. Just say he appeared in all games last season. Third and 11 for the Brahmas. Again, this is still legit field goal range. They just can't take any more yardage loss. Bad snap, but Mon gets it, drops back. He's going to be sacked. He gets sacked for about a 10-yard loss. Ball is out. But they get it. First of all, I think he was probably down before he got fumbled, but even then, that's still Brahmas' ball, but that's a huge play by the Panthers defense. Mon needed to immediately throw that ball away, try and roll out and throw. Instead, he tried to go back a bit and got sacked. Bad snap that's mainly on the center, but let's see the replay, Mon. Oh, Gidna just got right on him, yeah. Mon, there's only so much he could have done there. 4th and 24. This is horrid for San Antonio right now because you're stuck in this no man's land area. You can't really kick a field goal. You can't really punt it and be like okay with punting it. Massive, massive mistake for San Antonio and that center right there. They might be, this would be like a 64-yarder, which it looks like they're not going to go for. They've got the offense out on the field at 4th and 24. This is insanely bold. This is banking on a defensive penalty to make it a closer field goal or something bold. Michigan's calling a timeout. They're probably like, what the hell? I went to a Showboats game last year. They can't play defense in the last 5 minutes of any game on Boats fan. I mean, this year the defense is playing solid. I mean, this year it hasn't been the defense. It's been the offense. The offense can't score in the last 5 minutes of the game, right? They got the touchdown, couldn't get the 2-point conversion. Then last week, they got the drive, then missed the field goal. I mean, the defense has been incredible this year. It's been one of the best defenses in the league. It's just the offense is just doing nothing. Again, this is a bold decision. It would be like a 64-yarder, so I understand not wanting to kick it. But again, at 4th and 24, you are basically you're banking on a defensive penalty here. You're banking on the defense being very confused about why you're going for it, making some sort of mistake, and then, of course, getting a first down off that. Or at least getting enough yards to make this a shorter field goal because it's something, just gives you 5 yards, not an automatic first down kind of deal. So let's see. I would not be shocked if San Antonio uses their challenge here no matter what if they don't get this. Panthers are playing prevent defense. They're playing Hail Mary defense on 4th and 24 with 8 minutes left. This is something you never see in the NFL. They might be just trying to draw them off sides here. 8 seconds left in the play clock. 5, 3, 1. Yep, they're just trying to draw them off sides. Now here's the real question, what they're going to do here. They are taking the delay of game. They are going to be punting this ball away. Now, if you're Michigan, you probably decline this penalty, force the punt to be a much more difficult punt to make good. Decline the penalty. That's a correct move. You force them back 5 yards, makes the punt actually easier for San Antonio. So declining that penalty means that they're going to punt it here. Remember, touchback or out of bounds, you get the ball at decent field position. So this is definitely the correct call here. Eight minutes left in the game. San Antonio needs a stop. Kick is up. It's going to be deep. It's going to be bounced. And it looks like that's either going to be stopped at the 1 or it's going to be a touchback. Touchback's what's called. That's what it looked like. And it looks like there's a Brahmas defender down right now, or Brahmas coverage player down right now. Kyle Kuzma, bro. I don't even know what team he's on. Good old Michigan, bro. Having great attendance. Love to see it. Let's just go on the Discord world while we wait for this. What a game, man. I can't believe we're actually having a good game, bro. For the first time in like the first stream in the last like season, we're having a really, really good game. Love to see it. Well, we had one, but yeah. This is a great one so far. Let's see. Masters check-in because the big two are teeing off in like 2 minutes. Auberg on the very first hole gets a birdie. He is at -7. He is now 5 behind the lead. Johnson and Rose still shooting -1 for the day. Morikawa ended up dropping a stroke. He's down to -1 on the day, so he's back to -4. Now what you want to see if you're him. Again, at that point, like you need to finish at least -8 if you want a chance. You have to basically rely on like McIlroy and DeChambeau both having a bad day, like an over 72. And if you have to rely on that, yikes. So Morikawa is almost to the point where he's fully out of contention at this point. Scotty is even through 1. So is Day and Lowry. But of course, we still have the big 2 groups of Connors and Reed have not finished the first hole, and then McIlroy and DeChambeau are about to tee off like right now. Pull that up. There you go. Tell Bryce throw a TD pass for 60 yards in the air, dude. That would be insane. That would be an insane way to basically ice this game. It really would be. Let's see. Any more notifications? Not there. Man, all I know, man, the power rankings video this week's going to be tough. If the score holds, I'll at least know who the bottom team is. And I guess the bottom 2, maybe. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one to make. Isaiah has a better chance making the Eagles than Roughnecks winning. Bruh. There was a personal foul on Brad Wing for taking his helmet off. That's a terrible move by your own punter, who's a big-name punter in the league. That's another 15 yards, so the Panthers are going to get this ball in insanely good field position. And they lost a guy who got helped off the field on the return. This is an awful start for the Brahmas right here. That's an awful play for them. A touchback, a penalty, and a player getting hurt. Yeah, if you're Michigan here, you need to eat up as much clock as possible and score. You don't have to get a touchdown. A field goal makes it a 2-score game, but you have to eat up clock. You want to end this drive with, at minimum, 4 minutes left, or at most. You want it less, but at most 4 minutes left. Ball is snapped. Fakes the handoff. Perkins quick throws to his right. Is going to be caught, and he's going to go out of bounds. You still believe in Troy Williams? Hey, Troy Williams and E.J. Perry is a quarterback room for the ages. It is going to get you a couple of touchdowns and a lot of turnovers. It's going to make for fun games. That's for sure. 2nd and 6 for the Panthers here. Clock is going down to about 7.5 minutes. I would wait a couple more seconds to snap the ball. Bit shocked they snapped that early. Ball is handed off, and it's going to be a run up the middle for about a 2-yard gain. Kind of shocked they didn't try and wait about 5 more seconds off the clock, but it is what it is. Interviewing Frank the Tank Gidna on the sideline right now. Showing that play where he just ran right off the edge, I'm pretty sure. Yep, that's what they're showing. No Winston QB room. Yeah, add Matt Corral to that lineup. You got a really good James Winston impression there. Still showing that replay, bro. I think all the power ranking is going to be wacky thanks to Houston having false over. Yeah, it's going to be really tough to do power rankings. I think that like everybody's going to be fully different for sure. 3rd and 4, drops back to throw, throws to the right. A bit of collision by the Brahmas' own defenders, and he's up to the 30. The 25 gets tackled at about the 22. There was some bad miscommunication. This Brahmas defense looking really rough right now. That was bad. He got a wide open catch and still kept going. Bad play right there. Wasn't he supposed to go back to the Raiders or something? I don't remember. I remember something about Ron Forever going back to the Raiders. Dude, we get it. He was wide open, ran for the sack, bro. We just saw a massive play with collision by the Brahmas' own DBs. We need to see that, not this replay again. I love Frank, but come on. Bro, the injuries for the Brahmas in less than 30 seconds play clock. Another injury, yeah. And that was by their own guy. I want to see the replay, but it looked like they just collided with each other, and it just gave the Panthers a huge break. And commercial break. Man, what a game so far. I do, bro. What am I looking at in the Discord? Any news? Was Greedy doing that poorly? I hadn't been like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm fully versed in the knowledge of what DBs do, but from what I understand, he was doing pretty poorly and like got cut or released because of that. And I mean, no team picked him up, so that kind of shows it. So yeah. I mean, Michigan's attendance keeps going up. Again, last year I talked about it. People didn't want to believe it when I said that Michigan had the second best attendance in the league last year. They did because they improved not only from the start of the season to the end of the season, but from the year prior to this year. So far this season, they're doing it again. They improved upon last year's high and then improved upon that this week. If they keep that up, that's what you want to see. You want to see improvement. When you know what the attendance is for teams, it's not a matter of some basic benchmark. It's a matter of improving. Michigan's been the best team in the entire league in improving their attendance. Now, St. Louis has the caveat of they're already insanely good. So, like, improving on 33,000, like, you're asking for a lot. But Michigan improving, you love to see it. Memphis improved, but they only improved 500. I mean, remember, Memphis went up from like 4,200 to 4,700. That's improvement. It's still a bad number, but it's improvement. Michigan improved by 1,000 when they already had 10K, which was already improvement because last year they never hit 10K. You know, it's what you love to see. I mean, so far this is going to be the second most attended game of the week behind St. Louis because this beat out Birmingham's week 1 opener. Kinda Cool is out with a concussion, just got confirmed by Mike T. Bell right there. The Brahmas could be 0-4. Ain't that the truth, sadly? Let's see, they're going to show this replay again. This was definitely, you had two defenders hitting each other, so they're going to show this again because you had a bit of like little crosser routes right there between the Panthers receivers and just completely screwed them up. So they're going to show this replay here. Runs directly into his own teammate right in the head. Resulted in a wide open catch and run. Huge gain for Michigan. Huge blow for the Brahmas right there. I'm probably not going to do a draft show video just because I don't know. Like, this is the first draft in a few years where I really don't know that many players in it. Just a matter of not, like, fully paying attention to the draft cycle and all that. And also because that would add, like, a third stream to the week. And already doing 2 of them is a lot, so probably not. But we'll probably obviously talk about it when we do, you know, one of the streams that weekend for games, though. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Perkins quick throws to the right. It's going to be caught. And it's going to be about a 6-yard gain. Blooper video. I don't know. Probably not. It's all but impossible to make playoffs in a 10-week season when you start on 3. If Michigan lost this game or lose this game, I would say Memphis is totally fine, purely because you'd have 2 1-2 teams, even though it would hurt because, of course, you lost. But Michigan winning this game would make it very difficult for Memphis to make the playoffs. Because then you're not only down 2 games, but you also lost head-to-head to Michigan. And God forbid the Roughnecks actually keep winning. That means you're going to be behind them, who also have beaten you already, which would make it really tough. Bit of motion in front of Perkins. Perkins is in shotgun with 1 man to his right. They hand the ball off this time. Trying to do some motion. He cuts a couple times, but he gets tackled at the line of scrimmage, 3rd down. Again, you just need to get a field goal here. Do not turn the ball over. Do not lose yardage. Either you get a first down or you kick a field goal and you get a 2-score lead with 5 minutes left. Again, eat up this clock as much as possible. This play should not go off before 5 minutes and 5 seconds. You need to get as much clock off as you can. Make it to where when the Brahmas get the ball, it's with about like 4.5 minutes left. Make them have to earn this win. 15 seconds left in the clock, or in the play clock. 5-10. I would wait a few more seconds to snap this ball. Motion in front. Now you can snap this ball. 5 seconds left in the play clock. Ball is snapped with about 2 left. Perkins looks to his left. Throws it, intercepted by the Brahmas, and it's going to be a potential pick 6. Perkins is going for the tackle. He gets hit, and he's going to go. It's going to be still going. The Brahmas are still going. Pick 6, San Antonio. Perkins with an awful pick 6. Oh, no. The Brahmas get a pick 6 on the play in field goal range. That is what I just said. You could do anything but throw a turnover. That is the only thing you couldn't do. You just take a sack and kick a field goal, even if it's harder. You're up 2 scores. That is a massive error by Bryce Perkins. Let's see this replay. That is a bad throw. That's not reading the defense. That hurts. Bad throw by Perkins. That's on Perkins. When you have a throw like that, that is a bad throw on Perkins. That's insane. That's bad, bro. Now people are... 2-point conversion is up, and it's no good, no flag. So, the Panthers are still leading by a whole 2 points now. But they are still leading. So, they do get that benefit because I guess, it's just... Oh, man. Not what you want to see. Awful, awful play right there by the Perkins. Looks like they're reviewing this. I think they might have challenged for DPI there. Challenging for DPI. If they get this, that'd be huge for them because, of course, that means they can redo this and they'll be closer to the 1-yard line. Let's see. Part of this is if it's an uncatchable ball. If it's an uncatchable ball, the DPI really doesn't matter too much. I think it's kind of hard to overturn that because the ball was so far away, kind of. It's close, though. Looks like they are going to call it DPI, maybe. Yep, they're calling it. The challenge is going to be successful. San Antonio is going to win the challenge, and they're going to get another shot at the 2-point conversion. Why did I think the Browns are going to be so good? Holland, Stevenson, did they lose someone? I mean, it's because we expected the running game to be really good, and it hasn't been insane. Yeah, San Antonio is going to win it. Because, I mean, today's been the best day on the offense. That's been the best thing right here. Yeah, this is the best game of the season so far, for sure. Actual 40-point-plus game, insane to see. I dislike Blandino a little. Again, they're going to get the ball at about the 1-yard line, I believe. So is this still a 2-point conversion? If they get this, this is a tied game. Well, I mean, hey, it's just one game. Wade is out with an illness, so we'll see when he comes back. But I mean, so far he's only been on the sideline for one game because the first game he was in the booth. But yeah. Under center is Kellen Mond. We very rarely see that. Let's see what it's going to be. Especially with the lead-in being the Battlehawks, this could be a really solid one for sure. Though the Masters hurts. Ball is snapped. Runs to the left. He does get it. It is good. It is a tie game. 23-23, both teams. Wow. Tie game. Can't believe Perkins threw that pick 6. That was so rough. The one thing he couldn't do. That hurt. That was bad. That was really bad for sure. Corey Connors shot a +1 so far on the day after his first hole, so he's down to -7. Auberg is still at -7. Rose and Lowry at -6 after Lowry got a birdie. Scotty is even through 2. Not what you want to see if you're a Scotty fan right now. This is insane so far. Yay. 23-23, San Antonio, Michigan. Last week's Battlehawk game was one of the weaker games of the year. It was one of those that you didn't even miss anything if you didn't watch it. Return is up to the 30, up to the 35. Michigan has a big return to the 40, the 45, the 50. The 45 gets out of bounds at about the 42. What is this? Massive return by the Panthers. You rarely see that this season. The Panthers are going to be very close to field goal range already. Again, this is insane right now. This is insane. But yeah, last week's game was just not insane. It was a very boring game in the sense that it was just, the Battlehawks just outplayed the Brahmas. Wasn't a big deal. This is the best game of the year so far for the UFL. 23-all. Panthers are getting the ball at the 46-yard line in San Antonio territory. Perkins is in shotgun. 3 receivers out to his left. His running back to his right with him in the backfield. Ball is snapped. They hand the ball off. Runs up the middle. Gets about 3 yards on the play. May even call it about 3.5. Solid play right there. Serenity now. This is a game right here. That's not what he wanted to cook. Not the Patrick Star reference. If you know, you know. 2nd and down for the Panthers. Again, you still are at the kind of field position where you can still eat up some of this clock, but it's a really... If you're going to eat this clock up, you need to score a touchdown. Because 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning, 1st down, stopping the clock, San Antonio. You need to score a touchdown here. A field goal is not going to be great for you if you're Michigan. I mean, you'll take it over nothing, obviously, but yeah. Motion in front of Perkins. Hands off the ball once again, runs up the middle. It's about 2 yards gain right there. Wasn't able to get to watch before the last couple of minutes, so thanks for the play of life so far, no problem. That was a play call that kind of felt like you're afraid of Perkins throwing. I would have thrown it there on that 2nd down, but now you're at a very weird 3rd down. They might be debating this is 4-down territory because, again, the offense of San Antonio has not done a ton. They've done a lot more than they usually do, but it's not like, they just scored because of a pick 6. So might be 4-down territory. That might be why they're doing a lot of runs right here, but let's see. Perkins is in shotgun. 2 receivers both to his left and right, moving one of the right ones to the left. Ball is snapped, drops back to there, looks to his left, throws it over the middle. It's going to be caught for a 1st down, and then some up to about the 32-yard or the 28-yard line for them right there. Back in a long drive, stopping in. How you doing? Heart rate is going up a bit. This game is insanely wild. This is easily the best game of the season so far. It's just an insane one, aside from Memphis Lamau. I hope so, but man, that Perkins pick 6 hurt. It all depends if they score a touchdown here. If they do, I think they will. If they kick a field goal, I don't think they will. Need a touchdown here because of how the clock rules in the NFL or the UFL are. A field goal, way too much time for the Brahmas to do something. I don't trust them in overtime. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line in San Antonio territory. Perkins is in shotgun, 1 man to his right in the backfield. Ball is snapped. They try to do the fake handoff, and they end up getting about 2 yards on the play. Decent game, that's about it. 2nd down, 2nd and 8 for him now. Let's see if they can pull this off again. They might take this down to the 2-minute warning. That would be the correct call, I would say. Just take it to the 2-minute warning because you are matching up right. So it looks like they might be doing that. Remember, directly after this is the Battlehawks Defenders on ABC, obviously, and ESPN+. I would recommend watching it on ABC. I would recommend also setting up CBS and just flip-flopping between the 2 channels. Whenever there's commercial break in the UFL game, go see what the score is in the Masters. Going to the 2-minute warning now. Again, San Antonio still has 1 challenge left and 3 timeouts. So San Antonio still has a lot of time left right now. Oh, man, this game's really picked up, that's for sure. A lot of people complaining about the decision to even throw it there, which I agree. I talk about the Perkins pick 6, obviously. What a game so far. Now, let's see what the Masters are right now. McElroy with a double bogey on the first hole. That is rough. That is now tied -10 for both McElroy and DeChambeau. Huge blow for McElroy, who just had a birdie on it yesterday. DeChambeau, though, shot a par, so he's tied there. Corey Connors, of course, at -7. Justin Rose got a 2nd birdie in his first 3 holes, so he's at -7. So this is a much closer tournament now. You've got a lot of guys sitting at that -6 or better. If you're at -5, you're still kind of in it, but you got to start going faster. Reed is at +1. Scotty and Day are both at -5. Man, that's a big blow for McElroy getting that Double bogey right there. Southern fan base is not supporting. Good. Keep in mind for expansion, I wanted a Georgia team. Zomb coming in clutch. Yes, sir. Thank you. Game of the year, I would say for sure. This is easily the best game of the season so far. An actual high-scoring, close game with big defensive plays. This is what you want to see. This isn't just, offenses do offensive things. It's been great defense, great red zone defense, pick six, a lot of things like that. McElroy is probably number one on trending now. Yes, he is. Why am I not shocked? That's insane. Double bogey in the first hole is wild. Active police presence. I thought that was... Dude, whenever I hear active police presence, I think of that classic inside the NBA police presence at, the Clippers game. If you know, that's a classic. Shame on the Stallions' lack of support, for sure. My prayers are answered. We finally get a game where both teams score 20 points. Yes, sir. Very good Michigan showing. Yes, gotta love to see it. Michigan's fans actually showing up for this game. You actually feel it this time. This is what people always hate about the attendance. Is, it doesn't feel like there's that many. This game feels like there's people there, which you love to see. I will not be streaming the Defenders Battlehawks game. I got some stuff I'm going to be doing while watching that game and the Masters simulcast. I'm going to have two TVs on, a TV and a phone probably watching it. Going back and forth. I wasn't going to put it on if I wasn't going to put my full attention on it. And because it's, today's the day, yeah. Only doing 2 streams a week, yeah. Yeah, this is the first tiebreaker, yeah. I understand that, Mole is a big Roughnecks fan, but I'm kind of shocked he didn't vote to see the Kellen Mond game. But yeah, I'm glad we got this game because this is a really good one. The Stallions win was a rough one. That was such an undeserved W. Both those teams are going down in my power rankings more than likely. After this game, it's pretty hard for me to not put Michigan above either of them because, man, they both looked really bad in that game. 2nd and 8 for Michigan. 2 minutes left. 2-minute warning, of course, just happened. Michigan has 2 timeouts, 0 challenges. San Antonio has 1 challenge and 3 timeouts left. Tie game, 23-23. Ball is snapped by Perkins, hands it off on 2nd and 8, runs to the right, breaks the first tackle, but then gets hit again, and it's about a 2-yard gain maybe. Going to be a 3rd and about 8. Not what you want to see. Our Stallions are just not a good team anymore. The defense is still a really good unit. It's just the offense is very questionable. So far through 3 weeks, again, we haven't seen the Defenders Battlehawks game yet. So far, St. Louis's offense is good. Memphis's is literally hit or miss. They're either really solid or really bad. Michigan, when Perkins is playing right, is good. That's about it. So far, that's the realm of good offenses. Arlington had 1 good game, and the last 2 haven't been great. Birmingham has yet to have a good offensive performance. And then San Antonio, even though they have 23 points on the board, of course, 8 of those were from pick 6, so that doesn't fully count. Houston has had 1 decent game with Nolan Henderson. Got to see more than that. So, it just matters the defense versus offense. 3rd and 6 for Michigan. Again, you need a first down here. Keep this drive going. Try and knock some more clock off. Again, you need to score. Again, he cannot get a turnover here. You need to at least score. Even though I want to see a first down, if you have to kick a field goal, you kick the field goal, get the lead, play defense. Your defense has been playing really solid, all things considered today. Let's see. Perkins is in shotgun. 1 man to his right. Motioning one of his receivers from the right to the left. 1 receiver now out to his right, 3 to his left. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks over to his left. He's going to throw it directly to the side. Oh, he makes a nice move, cut move, and he goes and gets the first down, a massive play. This has been that was a great play right there. Malik Turner has been very, very solid today. From catching all those hospital passes earlier in the game and still holding on to him to that. That was a brilliant move right there. Love it. I don't remember if a game went to 1 last season. I think 1 might have gone to OT last season. I know a USFL game did, the Panthers Maulers in the playoffs, but this year, no OT game this year. Incredible move by Turner right there. That is what you love to see. That's a great one. Clutch throw for sure. 1st and 10, 1 minute, 50 seconds left. Eat up this clock. Gonna run it up the middle. Gonna be tackled by the jersey for a pretty huge gain. Going to be about 2nd and 4. Eat up this clock, either force San Antonio to call a timeout or just eat this clock up. Clock is stopped, so it looks like it might have been a timeout by San Antonio. Gotta love it right now. Pans and Breakers went to OT too. Oh, I forgot about that one. I did forget about that one. Yep, San Antonio did call a timeout, and they are now down to apparently 1 timeout left. 2nd and 3 for the Michigan Panthers. Again, if you can get a first down here, you can essentially ice this game by just kneeling, running the ball forward, kicking a field goal. Which, again, with the Panthers, even a short field goal is very sketchy. BT Potter has been sketchy even in his makes, and of course he had one kick block today. Like, that 34-yarder was a pretty close make there. So, again, for Michigan, you just got to keep running this ball to try and win this. Let's see if they pull this off. 1 minute, 41 seconds left. One timeout for San Antonio. They're at 2nd and 3, though this really is like, yeah, the 2nd and 3. Perkins is in shotgun with him. One man to his right in the backfield. Motioning a tight end left to right. It's a low snap, and they get on it, but it is going to be about a 3-yard loss. That is not what you want to take. Again, we saw that earlier. Kellen Mond had a terrible one earlier. Not Kellen Mond, but the center threw a really bad snap, and it forced that errant sack by Frank Gidna. Just saw it. It's another massive mistake by a center. That's the second one we've seen all day. Again, we saw one by the Brahmas earlier, so this is kind of the makeup one right here. Massive, massive break that the Panthers were able to jump on that. That would have been really rough. Again, this is a huge break for the Brahmas because if you ran that ball and you kept going again, that's the last timeout. San Antonio is now out of timeouts. Michigan still has 2 left. Both teams are out of challenges. 1 minute, 38 seconds left. No matter what, you're going to be able to knock off this clock to about a full minute left, but you need to get a first down. If you get a first down, the game's over barring a missed kick or a blocked kick. But if you don't get the first down here, you kick it, San Antonio does have life. Or we might go to OT. 3rd and 6. Turner is on the sideline. This is a very controversial move. I would put him in there right now. Here I come, saved it. Okay. Perkins has been really solid. Going to need another block kick. No. Soccer stinks. L, bro. We love soccer. W Sport. The La Liga players flop, bro. Premier League better than La Liga. That's the one thing I hate about Madrid is that they play in La Liga. Premier League is such a better style of soccer. Perkins is in shotgun, one man to his right. One receiver out to his left, the rest to his right. Aside from tight ends, obviously. Motions one of his right to his left. Goes back to the right, ball snapped. They hand it off in the middle. It is going to be about a 2-3 yard gain. Again, they're going to eat this clock down. It's going to be a little under a minute when they kick it. They're probably going to wait to call a timeout when there's no time left. They're going to kick this field goal. They got to kick this field goal. I would not risk going for a first down here. Your defense has played very well all day. You just can't allow a touchdown or a field goal. You just got to play normal defense. Try and beat them. But they need to make this kick. Again, BT Potter has been very questionable this season. It's been 3 games, but he's been the weakest kicker so far. Again, the game starts in about 5 minutes, so if this game does go to OT, of course, we'll be going into it later, but yeah. 23-23. Panthers call the timeout 54 seconds after this kick is up. The Brahmas are essentially going to get the ball back after the return, roughly like 45 to 48 seconds left. So, depending on how good the return is, depends on how many yards they need to get. Again, they only need a field goal. Destroying has been able to kick a long field goal today. Let's see what they do here, though. Again, BT Potter needs to make this kick. That's the most important thing. 4 of 7 on the year. One of those, of course, was a block, but he has been very debatable. Almost missed a 34-yarder earlier. He needs to make this. This is just a 28-yard field goal. This is essentially a gimme kick. If he misses this, he needs to be cut today. So let's see. Ball is snapped. Kick is up. It's good. That looked like it was almost going to be blocked, but it is good. 26-23, Michigan leads over San Antonio with 51 seconds left. Again, after the return, it's going to be about 45 to 48 seconds left for San Antonio to try and get into field goal range. Again, remember, the clock stops with a first down until the chains move. So again, 45 seconds is a long time in the UFL. It's just like college. You get to keep doing plays as long as you're getting first downs. He is no Bates, that is for sure. Win, so that 11,000. Dude, if they win this, that can definitely help. Especially how good this game is, that definitely could help attendance for the next game. Let's see what happens here. Again, 51 seconds left right now. You need to have some good coverage. Again, the Panthers have struggled a lot on overall special teams. Not just kicking the ball in terms of field goals. They've struggled on return coverage. You need to have a good coverage play here. don't allow for a big return. The farthest you can allow is to 35, and even that would just be a bit of a rough one. So let's see. They're still doing some talking here, still doing some talking and all that. Man, this is going to be wild. Kick is up, gets to about the 25, gets tackled short of the 30. He barely gets to the 25. That is what you wanted to see right there. Huge right there. And we love the league, that's for sure. We love the UFL. Huge what you want to see right now. Again, the Brahmas still have enough time to get into field goal range because of the fact the clock stops after a first down. You still have time. I'd say Peyton has earned himself the head coach position next season. Yeah, if he can do this for a couple more games, like I said, it's only one game, but if he keeps this up as an OC and all that, that's for sure. 1st and 10 for the Brahmas, drops back to throw, looks over the middle of the field, throwing deep to the left, it is going to be caught, and I think he was down. I think he was down before he fumbled it. If he fumbled it, then that is game over Panthers ball, but I think that he was down before he fumbled it. At least on first viewing, it looked like it was not a fumble. It looked like he was down before he fumbled it. Now, it's also a question of, did he get a first down? That's close. It was coming out before he fell down, but are they going to count that as control? They're reviewing this automatic review, of course. Last couple minutes is a very close one. Yep, down with control. That's a bit... To me, it looked like it was coming out a little bit, but again, you can argue that's not really coming out fully. It's kind of like, I don't know. Remember, it also matters if there's a first down or not. If this isn't a first down, I believe that's an automatic 10-second runoff. But if it is a first down, then that's different. So we got to see if it's a first down. Even if Brahmas keep this ball, it needs to be a first down for it to really matter. Yep, it looks like they're giving it to the to the Brahmas. Yep, the Brahmas still hold the ball, and they are going to be calling it a first down. So those are two big breaks for them. 40 seconds left on the clock on the game. Still need about like 30-ish yards to be in legit field goal position, though. 39 seconds. Ball is snapped. Mon drops back, looks to his right. He gets hit as he throws. Is going to be caught on the sideline. He does get out of bounds, but it's only about a yard gain, so they end up losing 8 seconds across the entire play, and they only gain about a yard. 26-23, 32 seconds left on the game. Again, Michigan only has one timeout left, so they can call a timeout to try and ice the kicker if they get into that position. Again, let's see. They're at the 40-yard line. Ball is snapped. Mon drops back to throw. Looks over to his left. Going to throw it to his left. It's going to be an incomplete pass. Again, you'd rather see an incomplete pass than an interception or something like that, which we all know from Perkins on that pick 6. But yeah, 3rd and 8 now. Again, this is obviously 4-down territory, so you don't need a first down here, but you need to gain some yardage and get out of bounds. Stop this clock or get a first down. Let's see. 3rd and 8. One of the two penultimate plays of this game right here. Or potential. Mon is in the backfield. One man to his right with him. 3 receivers to his left. Drops back to throw. Looks to his left. Looks to his left. Still looking. He's going to run up for it. He's going to run for it. He's going to run for it. And that's close. Do they give him the first down? They are giving him the first down. So he does get it. The clock stops until the ball is reset. Or the chains are reset. So they're going to stop the clock for a little bit. Looks like a Panthers defender might be down. This is a huge break for the Brahmas. This might force Michigan to lose a timeout here. And, of course, stops the clock for him instead of even having the chains move. Big break for the Brahmas right here. Huge break for him right here. Going to have time to call a play here. Don't have to either immediately spike it or do something else. You get to actually have time to call a play here. Huge for the Brahmas. Tyree's going back to the sideline now after that. Again, really big break for the Brahmas here. Can't stress that enough. Because again, even if you spike the ball, you're still going to lose at least like 2 seconds on the clock, at least 1. So this is huge for them. Harry Douglas is right next to Donald De La Hoya right now, trying to interview him while they do this. All I need is an opportunity, bro. Again, the ball is at the 49-yard line. They realistically need about like 15 yards at minimum to make this a somewhat doable field goal. Because again, this isn't Jake Bates or Brandon Aubrey, who legit could kick from like 65. But I mean, a 60-yarder is technically doable, but would still be very difficult. 1st and 10. Mond is in the backfield. There's some motion. This is either false start or it's going to be neutral zone infraction. Let's see. Looks like it's probably going to be false start, maybe. Nope, calling it a neutral zone infraction. 5-yard penalty on the defense. Show the replay. Yeah, the defender was running before. Big break. That's 5 free yards for the Brahmas right there. Ball is snapped. Mond drops back to throw. Quick throws out to the right. It's going to be caught and tackled out of bounds almost immediately for 17 seconds left in the game. The 41-yard line. Again, this is already essentially in super long field goal range right here. 17 seconds left in the game. Again, down 3. A field goal ties it. Sends this game to OT. Have not had an OT game this season. Mond is in shotgun with one man to his right in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw. Quick throw out to the right. It's going to be caught, and he's going to be kept in bounds. They're going to have to quickly snap this ball and spike it down. They're going to have to go quick. 10 seconds, 8 seconds, 6 seconds, 5. They get the spike down. They're going to have to kick it here with 3 seconds left. This is for overtime. If the kick is no good, the Panthers pull off the W, the close game. If it is good, this game goes to the first OT game of the season, and it might be the first in the UFL's history. I do not remember for sure if there was one last year. Destroying is currently 3 for 3 on field goals. Let's see if he makes this. This is going to be a really tough. This is going to be a tough one right here. Hey, we all know who Scott Norwood is, the classic wide right. Michigan does not have a timeout because of the injury, so this is just a 53-yarder. Kick is up, going to the left. It is no good. He misses the kick. The Panthers hold on to win 26-23 in the game of the year so far. In front of the packed crowd, they actually end up pulling it off. This is a big blow for the Brahmas and their playoff hopes. This essentially eliminates them for the season. 0-3 in a division where every one of your teams is 2-1 or better is insanely bad. Michigan somehow stays alive in the USFL race. Perkins had his best game overall in the season. What a game. Easily the best game of the season. Best game for sure. I just want to quote it. I don't want to redo everything, bro. Why did it reset everything? Game of the year so far. Best game so far this year. What an ending. What a game. Wow, that was a game right there. That's for sure. Insane game right there. Can't believe they pulled that off. That was an insanely close one right there, all things considered. I mean, that was an insanely tight game, but they ended up pulling off the W there. Massive game for the league right there, and of course, that is a big blow for the Brahmas and their playoff hopes. It is essentially over now. They really have no real chance to do this. Want to slot Mond as 2 QB. He's okay. I wouldn't say he's anything great so far. I still don't look at this game and be like, man, he was incredible, but he was better than he was before. We'll see how the offense does again, but this was a great game. Best game of the season. I think this is definitely an enjoyable one to watch. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Again, on ABC and ESPN Plus, the Battlehawks Defenders are playing, where we are expected to get the announcement of where the championship game is located. So be on the lookout for that. If you enjoyed this stream, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you enjoyed this, think about becoming a community member for 99 cents a month. The exclusive community members video this month is probably going to be my NHL and NBA playoff predictions. As always, guys, have a great night. Thank you for being here today.